Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Let's see here. Lip Walk, if you're still here, love. Hey, Mama. Nate, my daughter. Eve, hey, love. HP, hey, my love. I've missed you. Snacks, you already know, always a pleasure. Love you, Snacks. Hope you're good. Hope y'all can hear me. I'm gonna cover a little bit of everything tonight. I really don't have much to say, but there's, you know, get away from not saying I'm giving up on summer, but need to venture out. There's other kids, that need us too. And hi, Sophia. Aw, she can hear me, HP. Sophia, I like that name. I think that was Madeline Soto's middle name. Madeline Sophia. Aw, sounds good. Thank you, Snacks. Again, if y'all don't know, Snacks here is an OG. She's known me longer than just about everybody on here except for Cher. I love my Snacks. Sophia Madison. Oh, that is wild. Her name's Madeline Sophia. That is wild. There's really not any new information on Madeline's case, but we're just going to touch up on it a little bit and discuss and all that. Megs, I'm going to start getting you up on panel one day, daughter. You're going to get up here with your mama. Hey, PJ. How you doing, love? You was stuck. Had to leave and come back, huh? That's weird. Have y'all been following the Riley Strain case? I guess I need to start going live when I follow these cases instead of jumping in the middle, which I'm not in the middle. I've been following it. I just haven't covered it. You've been working a lot? Hope you're good, PJ. I've missed you. Really have. I hope you're doing good, love. You don't know nothing about Riley Strain? Snacks, you talking about Riley's case? Yeah, it's interesting. It's I don't know. Yeah, it is nuts. It don't make no sense. Something don't make no sense in it to me. I don't know. They got all this footage, and did the cops really miss his debit card, or was it planted there later? PJ, that's what I think too. Because whenever he fell, like in front of that parking garage or whatever, I think he really fucked himself up there, and he probably got really disoriented. And so, y'all want to go over that first? Let's see here. I don't think I have a lot. I did want to play a presser that happened that I wanted to get on here. Let's see. It's really sad. Let's see. Let me see something here if I can get. Cause some people don't know about it. I want to find like an older article so people can kind of get up to date what's going on here. Let me see. I need an old article here. We'll just go to Let's start with this little timeline I've got here. I think it's about what I can do for now. Let's see. Right, PJ, I agree. Yeah, he did hit hard. And like whenever he got up and left there, and they show that footage of him bent over holding his head, he could barely walk. But whenever he was that new footage, it was the body cam footage, he was walking good, but still you do sober up, in front of a cop or whatever. But oh, Megs, I'm jealous of your chicken. All right, we're gonna play a little short timeline clip here.
Good evening, everyone. Today marks a week since a University of Missouri student went missing in Nashville. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tracy Cornett.
And I'm Marius Payton. There's a long list of unanswered questions in this case. So tonight, our Sharon Dankwa spoke with his parents to break down everything we know so far about the night Riley disappeared.
Their night started out right here at the Temple Hotel. Riley and a few of his fraternity brothers were heading out towards Broadway, but now his family is laying out their path from the moment the boys left these doors to Riley's disappearance.
I said, have fun, be careful. I love you. I love you. And that's the last I heard.
It's a heartbreaking end to a Friday night. Michelle Whited says she wishes she could change. The night her 22-year-old son, Riley Strain, went missing. And here's what Riley's family says happened.
When they left Tempo, they went down to, I believe, Miranda Lambert's bar first. Spent probably about an hour and 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer there.
This was around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Riley's stepfather, Chris Whited, says the group of boys went from Miranda Lambert's to Garth Brooks's bar. Then they called Michelle.
He FaceTimed me.
And after that FaceTime, Riley's father, Ryan Gilbert, says the boys came here to Luke's 32 bridge.
We know he was asked to leave at about 9:45. Riley was put out the bar, and by the time his friend was able to leave the bar, Riley wasn't any longer on the sidewalk. Apparently, he had started up 3rd Street.
He told his friends he was heading back to their hotel, but instead, a surveillance camera from an escape room on 3rd Avenue North caught this video of him walking by.
That's when he cut across the parking lot. When you can see him in the video go down, it's pretty disturbing.
Other nearby cameras caught these. You see Riley turning onto Church Street and then stumble onto Gay Street.
He made it, as far as we know, basically to the James Robertson Bridge, and that's at the critical time where what I call it when things went dark.
What we don't know or have video of is where he went after this.
Let's see, I missed it. Let's see here what that said, Megs. I think it's because he was with his friends in the bar, and after Riley got kicked out, allegedly his friends went to pay their tab. What they owed, and then they were leaving, and I don't know. Let's see here.
Then stumble onto Gay Street.
He made it, as far as we know, basically to the James Robertson Bridge, and that's at the critical time where what I call it when things went dark.
What we don't know or have video of is where he went after this last Life 360 ping near the James Robertson Parkway Bridge at 9:53 p.m.
We would like to see a little bit right before the parking lot to kind of know what was happening before the parking lot. And then we'd also like to know what happened after he crossed down onto Gay Street, because there's such a void that we haven't seen. There's something there that's going to fill some gaps.
Our whole heart is out there somewhere, and we need to find him. Please help.
Riley's family is asking everyone to check their cameras and call the police department if they see anything. In Nashville, Sharon Dankwa, WSMV 4.
Metro Police is not releasing more security video of Riley because they claim it's not in the public's interest to see him stumbling around town before he vanished. The Tennessee ABC is investigating to see if Luke Bryan's bar overserved Riley and broke state law, but the bar says Riley only had 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters while he was there. Metro Police say no foul play is suspected, and they are treating this as a missing persons case.
A wallet, a cell phone, something to that effect. But so far, we haven't found anything like that at all. We have to scrutinize that information. Every tip that we get, we look at.
The Office of Emergency Management says boats will be back out on the water tomorrow using sonar.
Authorities are not the only ones searching for Riley. Many throughout the Nashville area and even farther out are looking for the 22-year-old. One family told us they drove down from Franklin, Kentucky to help in the search. Some even said if the roles were reversed, they would want others to do the same. Of course, we'll continue to bring you updates until Riley Strain is found. You can also.
Hey, Lip Lock, you're good. You don't like to lurk? I love to lurk. But I don't usually chat. Find out a lot lurking, can't you, Lip Lock? I love you. But what I understand is, did Riley not have to pay his tab, or was he paying as he went, when he left? You know what I mean? Yeah, HP, I'm beginning to think that. And did y'all notice that the bars that they went to was all of famous people, Garth Brooks, and all that? Lurking is the best snacks. You already know, baby. I lurk a lot. Not as much as I used to. I don't get on here as much as I used to. I've been taking breaks. You lurk when appropriate. I hear that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, hold on. I'm going to play this. This was like one of the last text messages. Right. That's not a drunk slouch. That's a head injury, I'm pretty sure he did hit his head. You could tell when he fell.
They now have a digital trail pit from what he was walking, along with a video footprint to put things together, to look for people following, extra vehicles in the same frame, etc. But right now, that is the last video or voice that we have of Riley.
Nashville police today, Chris, again said no indication of foul play. And that's the way, it seems they're being careful the way they word it, but they say no indication of foul play. What do you make of this? I mean, what are your thoughts at this point?
It's, I don't play poker well. It's very frustrating. His debit card was found in an area that we have been everybody.
Okay, I'm going to stop that there. Do y'all think it's foul play, or it was just a fucking freak accident, And like where they found his debit card, the water was up when they first searched. So that part where they found the card could have been underwater, I mean, if you look at the path he took, it went straight to the water. Yeah, someone could have laced his drink. I believe, yeah, because, I don't know, but he'd been bar hopping all night, y'all, and mixing liquors. And then, like, when you're drinking afterwards and you drink water, doesn't that kind of, like, make you drunker? I don't know. Yeah, Eva, I'm not sure either. I think he might have got robbed, maybe. I don't know. And everybody's like, oh, he would have had his debit card in his wallet or something, There's times that I've went out and all I take is like my debit card and my ID. You know what I'm saying? Or if he was in that bad a shape that they stopped serving him and kicked him out, they should at least waited for his friends to pay their tab and get out. You know what I mean? He had one drink and two waters at that one bar, the last bar though, PJ. But his mom had been talking to him, FaceTiming him and stuff all night, and he was bar hopping. He had been to different bars because they said he went to what, Garth Brooks, the Luke Bryan, something else. Yeah, his brothers should have done something, they should have been like, wait outside or something, told security, hey, wait, you know what I'm saying? The buddy system, just because you're men doesn't mean you don't need a buddy system, especially when you're not from that area. Yeah, he went to a few bars, PJ. Yes, his mother confirmed that because he was FaceTiming her bar hopping. And I think I played something. Let's listen to this and I'll go back. Lip lock, that's a good one. Yeah, like they were following it looked more like a damn camera from a cell phone or something than a surveillance camera. Because they don't like follow you 360 degrees if you go in a circle, you know what I mean? When I get drunk, I pass out. Okay, let's finish listening to this.
Hundreds of people have been in that area for 8 days. It's in an area that, you think we would have seen something by now. We've had people in the water. We've had people on land. We've had people volunteer helicopters. It just amazes us that it just happened to happen when it did, and we thank God it did, and those young ladies found it. They have been very, very open in helping us with this investigation. But yeah, we have a lot of questions. Every piece of the puzzle we've been receiving, it leads us down 100 more questions. We're no closer to finding Riley. We've asked for the TBI to be involved. I've even reached out to the FBI.
Like right here, he hit hard.
It's nothing. I'm not trying to take a dig at what Metro Nashville's doing. I know they're doing with what they can. They're probably short-staffed, but more eyes, more people invested in this. We're 8-9 days in, and how does a 6'5", 6'6", blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy disappear? I mean, he literally disappeared.
Yeah,
There's no, I understand. No, and there's no DNA.
See the pattern when he went to the river?
Like you said, sir, it doesn't add up, which is one of the reasons I think so many people are paying such close attention to the case. But you make a good point. I mean, we're not trying to make a dig at police here, but when you hear that it's TikTokers who are out there, volunteers who find his bank card on the riverbank now a week later, and not police early on, I mean, is that concerning to you and the family?
It is. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, very close friend of the family, but they are very concerned.
Maybe he passed out somewhere and someone took advantage of him.
We thank the Lord. It's ironic that they are literally trying to ban TikTok right now, and they're literally the only ones that has provided us a solid lead 8-9 days after this has started. So there is bad sides to all type of internet. I was actually on the phone triangling with another TikToker when the young ladies found that, had them send me a picture of it. I told them what bank he was with, etc. Unfortunately, we've been warned of the bad side of this, how people will want attention. They'll print fake plastic cards of people's identification, throw them in locations of crimes.
We've seen it before. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So before I rallied the troops, the mom and dad, I did have them dial 911. I had them send me pictures of it and instantly knew, wow, we have our first clue. And, it was amazing. We were so happy. And I told him, and you saw it in an interview, they were extremely nervous. I told him, I said, you're about to have 100 people instantly come to that spot because they were live.
Hold on here, let me take that back, see what he said.
Cards of people's identification, throw them in locations of crimes.
We've seen it before.
Another TikToker, when the young ladies found that, had them send me a picture of it. I told them what bank he was with, etc. Unfortunately, we've been warned of the bad side of this, how people.
When he says he's been warned of the bad side of this, I've seen SF Investigates, fuck, I can't talk, from Kylie Rodney's case. He was on Twitter talking about Olivia and Bullhorn Betty, because Olivia's there searching, and I think that's what they were warned of. Because remember Olivia in the Gabby Petito case just all of a sudden found Gabby's water bottle? And because SF Investigates was warning people about these tragedy pimps like Olivia and Bullhorn and all them. So I think that's what that was about right there. And I'm glad he listens.
People will want attention. They'll print fake plastic cards of people's identification, throw them in locations of crimes.
We've seen it before. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So before I rallied the troops, the mom and dad, I did have them dial 911. I had them send me pictures of it and instantly knew, wow, we have our first clue. And, it was amazing. We were so happy.
Snacks, he hit his head when he was walking. He hit his head really hard, you could tell.
And I told him, and you saw it in the interview, they were extremely nervous. I told him, I said, you're about to have 100 people instantly come to that spot because they were live. And I said, I need you to make sure nobody comes within 10, 20 feet of where you found that card, because we can't take a risk of jeopardizing, a potential crime scene. They did not label it at that yet.
That was smart.
But, yeah, just, and they were nervous and they go, okay. And it was awesome, but we're very concerned. I wish we had more people looking in this, invested in it. We just want Riley home. He's a great kid. He has a lot going for him. He was 2 months out from living the American dream and starting, graduating college and being an investment career that he wanted to be in. Just how does somebody like that just disappear, especially when there's an officer within a half mile, quarter mile of that area looking for suspects and smash and grabs? You think if there would have been an altercation, which there has been some stories and unverified, he would have heard that because he's listening for, things going on with automobiles. There's the video of it right there.
Yeah, you think, like you said, the video that the officer was so close, which just adds to the mystery. I want to ask you real quick, Chris, do you know much about Riley's final communications? Have you had any access to his text messages or who he was talking to last?
We did. People, we've been trying to explain how much of a family-oriented Riley was. Riley actually talked to his mom an hour and a half, 2 hours before this incident. He's one of those kids that still loves his family just like ours did. That's why we love this kid. He was seeing a young lady that there was a recently new relationship. And she is literally the last person that we know that had any communication with Riley from the family. She texted him to see how he was doing, if he was having fun. He sent kind of a scripted text back to her saying good lobs, slops or something like that. She said she even had to Google it. She didn't understand what that slang was. She thought maybe it was something new they picked up in Nashville. It was not new slang.
Say that again.
Riley,
what was it? I missed it. What did he text? Can you say it again? I didn't understand.
He actually, he texted her back. Instead of saying good time, he said good lops, like LOPS.
Good lops.
And which we were all confused. We're like, wow, what is that? And that just kind of shows the state of mind that he was in at that time. This is all within its.
But they say the state of mind, that's just kind of like drunk trying to text, like he was trying to say good luck or something. I don't know. I don't feel foul plays involved in this. I think it was just a really freak accident. And I'm like you, Lip Lock. Whenever he fell, I think that really fucked him up, and because his pings and stuff goes directly to the river. I mean, not saying, I don't know. Maybe he fell down that embankment where his credit card was found. I don't know. I don't feel foul play unless his drink got roofied, but he had been to so many bars that night, Lake Superior, high love. I get that, but the friends were paying their tab to leave with him, and I guess he took off. Me too, PJ. I don't think there's nothing bad about this. Like, I don't think it was malicious or whatever, I think it was a freak accident. I do. That head injury did not help him already being drunk. They did check the homeless camps, Lake Superior. I got some more on that.
10-minute window of what you just seen, where he went missing.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
Okay, let me see. Let me go back here. I played, okay, here's the timeline again. I played this at the beginning, but it tells the bars that he went to previously. Here, we'll play this. What? Megs, are you pocket modding? PJ, you shouldn't have been timed out, love. I think that had to be an accident. Megs wouldn't do that. Megs, do you hear me, love? I know you said you'd be right back. She's probably done it by accident, you all. PJ, please stay, love. It was an accident, I promise. Yeah, Megs wouldn't do that to PJ.
Marks a week since the University of Missouri student went missing in Nashville. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tracy Cornett.
And I'm Marius Payton. There's a long list of unanswered questions in this case. So tonight, Our Sharon Dankwa spoke with his parents to break down everything we know so far about the night Riley disappeared.
Their night started out right here at the Temple Hotel. Riley and a few of his fraternity brothers were heading out towards Broadway, but now his family is laying out their path from the moment the boys left these doors to Riley's disappearance.
They said, have fun, be careful. I love you. I love you. And that's the last I heard.
It's a heartbreaking end to a Friday night. Michelle Whited says she wishes she could change. The night her 22-year-old son, Riley Strain, went missing. And here's what Riley's family says happened.
When they left Tempo, they went down to, I believe, Miranda Lambert's bar first. Spent probably about an hour and 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer there.
This was around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Riley's stepfather, Chris Whited, says the group of boys went from Miranda Lambert's to Garth Brooks's bar. Then they called Michelle.
He FaceTimed me.
And after that FaceTime, Riley's father, Ryan Gilbert, says the boys came here to Luke's 32 bridge.
We know he was asked to leave at about 9:45. Riley was put out the bar.
At least 3 bars they went to.
Was able to leave the bar. Riley wasn't any longer on the sidewalk. Apparently, he had started up 3rd Street.
He told his friends he was heading back to their hotel, but instead, a surveillance camera from an escape room on 3rd Avenue North caught this video of him walking by.
That's when he cut across the parking lot. When you can see him in the video go down, it's pretty disturbing.
Other nearby cameras caught these. You see Riley turning onto Church Street and then stumble onto Gay Street.
He made it, as far as we know, basically to the James Robertson Bridge, and that's at the critical time where what I call it when things went dark.
What we don't know or have video of is where he went after this last Life 360 ping near the James Robertson Parkway Bridge at 9:53 p.m.
We would like to see a little bit right before the parking lot to kind of know what was happening before the parking lot. And then we'd also like to know what happened after he crossed down onto Gay Street, because there's such a void that we haven't seen. There's something there that's going to fill some gaps.
Our whole heart is out there somewhere, and we need to find him. Please help.
Riley's family is asking everyone to check their cameras and call the police department if they see anything. In Nashville, Sharon Dankwa, WSMV 4.
Metro Police is not releasing more security video of Riley because they claim it's not in the public's interest to see him stumbling around town before he vanished. The Tennessee ABC is investigating to see if Luke Bryan's bar overserved Riley and broke state law, but the bar says Riley only had 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters while he was there. Metro Police say no foul play is suspected, and they are treating this as a missing persons case.
A wallet, a cell phone, something to that effect. But so far, we haven't found anything like that at all. We have to scrutinize that information. Every tip that we get, we look at.
The Office of Emergency Management says boats will be back out on the water tomorrow using sonar.
Authorities are not the only ones searching for Riley, and many throughout the Nashville area and even farther out are looking for the 22-year-old. One family told us they drove down from Franklin, Kentucky to help in the search. Some even said if the roles were reversed, they would want others to do the same. Of course, we'll continue to bring you updates until Riley Strain is found. You can also follow along with our WSMV4 News app. We'll send alerts to your phone as soon as we get new information on the search.
Yesterday, the Nashville police
See here. Mags, you being bad. Yeah. But like, okay, I seen somebody say, oh, there's no missing persons in Nashville right now. That's a lie. I don't remember where I seen that or who said it, but come on, there's more. You got to be telling me Nashville doesn't have any more reported missing cases of people. Bullshit. But yeah, the one they found the other day was a female, and I think he was already drunk by the time he got there. That's what, because see, I didn't know about the other bars until recently, because I thought he was like drugged too, roofied at the bar. But if he had already been to all those bars, and there might be bars that they don't even know they went to. They went to what, Garth Brooks, Miranda Lambert, and Luke Bryan. They went to the famous people bars. Next, it's okay, baby. It's okay. It happens. It happens. Let's see. Okay, here we're going to listen. There was a press conference today with his parents. Let's watch that next. Get you a little new information here or something.
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler. This is Sergeant Bob Nilsson. We're with the Homicide Cold Case Unit for Metro Nashville Police, and we've been heading up the investigation into Riley's disappearance. As Mr. Flagg said, we've been in contact with him since the very beginning, coordinating what we could as far as with the family's active participation in locating Riley.
Megs, HP, you want me to get you? Megs is a managing mod, so she can get mods. Just saying.
That has been, and to this day remains, the top priority. There has not been any evidence that has come forward to change this to an ongoing criminal investigation at this time. Regardless of what else has been put out there, there are several leads that we are following up with on a constant basis and an influx of information that is coming forward at all times. We are going through every single piece of that information, but the priority remains locating Riley.
As he said, I'm Sergeant Nielsen. I gave a briefing to our chain of command all the way up to Chief Drake yesterday. They're well aware of where we are with the investigation at this point, as well as the resources. We do have our boat going back in the water this afternoon, along with members of the Urban Search and Rescue team that will be combing the area, researching the area. It's been mentioned already today, and it's also been asked, things like, why was that card found and why didn't we find it? As Mr. Flagg pointed out, there's a lot of variables in these investigations, and if you've not been skilled or trained or experienced in these investigations, you don't understand a lot of these things. As Don Aaron put out the other day, when we start a missing person investigation, we're looking for a person, we're looking for a body. We're not looking for small pieces of evidence. Can we miss some things? Sure. But our primary goal is to find Mr. Strain and bring him home safely. Think of it like a large crime scene. A lot of times you have to deal with the victims first before you can go back and start looking for those precise pieces of evidence. Okay, that's kind of our focus here. We're looking for Mr. Strain, then we go back and look again. And because these two ladies over here were kind enough to volunteer their time and helped us by finding that, now we can do a more refined search with our Urban Search and Rescue, which is what they're going to be doing this afternoon. And as Mr. Flagg said, with a lot of volunteers, if you're coming down to volunteer, understand it is very treacherous terrain. That's why we're using Urban Search and Rescue and not just anyone on the street, because our people are trained, they're equipped, they have everything that they need to conduct these searches. You won't even see a patrol officer go to some of these areas that are more treacherous. Why? Because they don't have the rappelling equipment and things of that nature. So we're utilizing all the resources we can. We've also going to be reaching out to Office of Emergency Management. They've been helping us quite a bit. Over the weekend, they've been back out with a boat, divers, cadaver dogs. They run sonar. Our boat has sonar. It's the same stuff. People have asked about TBI. It's the same resources they have. So there's not been a need for us to get additional assistance from these other agencies. However, like Mr. Flagg, Cajun Navy, they have that experience. They want to volunteer their time. They've been very gracious in talking with us, saying they're going to help us out. Not a problem at all. But again, if you have a structured organization like United Cajun Navy, you have the safety protocols in place, you have the equipment and the resources to utilize to conduct that search, as well as to make certain everybody's safe doing that. We're going to continue to search. We're still filtering all the Crime Stoppers tips, as Detective Chandler said. I cannot stress enough the volume of information we've gotten. We've had people get frustrated with us because they'll call us, say, on a Monday, and they don't know why we haven't gotten back to them on Monday. And I've had to explain to them, we have to weigh every piece of evidence we get, or information rather, evenly. We can't just jump to the top, because quite honestly, there's a lot of tips that we're getting that are not tips. They mean well, but they're not tips. So we have to prioritize what's actually providing information. And some of the other things I have my detectives doing today is recanvassing the area for video. And while we don't think Riley may have been in any of these homeless camps away from this area, those are areas that we're going to be working on this afternoon ourselves. In regards to, we've had questions about some of the behind the scenes things we're doing, search warrants, that kind of thing. Please understand it's an open investigation. We cannot share that information with the public because it's an open investigation. It can, if it were to turn into a criminal investigation, well, obviously now we're negatively impacting that situation. So please understand, if you call us and you're asking us questions, there may be some things we cannot answer, and it's to maintain the integrity of the investigation, as well as any potential evidence should there be a criminal component to it. I would also ask, as Mr. Flagg and everybody has, uh, if you have questions for the family, you want to help the family, that's great. But please also respect their privacy. These kinds of incidents that happen, sometimes people with the best of intentions don't know the best way to approach people, and it can cause more stress for the family. So please be mindful of that. What am I missing? I don't think.
One of the other things I wanted to make sure everybody understood, all the businesses and everybody we have asked for assistance as far as video or any other information, we have had absolute cooperation from everybody involved. There has never been a time to where anyone has had any issue in giving us any other information. To go along with what Mr. Flagg said, I know earlier I said this is not a criminal investigation this time. Should we uncover something that would change that, it's important that we go through one centralized source to where we know we can then change the manner in which we're searching and can start to conduct that in the proper manner. So if you do want to volunteer, we welcome all eyes to come help try to find Riley. But if we stumble across something to where we need to change the direction of the investigation, it is important that it's through one coordinated source and they're able to get the information back to us so we can adjust accordingly.
I think the only thing I would like to add before we open up the questions is one of the concerns people have called in multiple times about is that Riley was being chased, he was being followed. We have seen no evidence of that. We've been through the video multiple times, and that is the reason why we released that body camera footage, because that officer had an interaction with him, and we've talked to other people that have indicated to us there was no injuries on Mr. Strain when they observed him.
It is weird that they say he was being followed and chased, because right before he fell and hit his head, like before he got to that area, you could see him running. And there's a new video footage out of the body cam from the police, and you can see before he got to the police, he was running. Why was he running? I don't know. Maybe because he was disoriented? I don't know.
And there was no indication that he was running from anything or he was in fear. There's been a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation out there, and we're putting out everything we can to dispel all of those misconceptions. We're happy to answer those questions, but again, people are taking what has already been put out, what the media's put out, and then putting their spin on it, calling back with Crime Stoppers tips that are not actually tips. They're their theory on what happened. We love people calling in and helping us, but we need actionable leads that we can follow up on. So please understand too, when you don't see us, like my detectives out in the field constantly, it's because we're trying to prioritize those tips that we're getting to find what's actually useful information that we can follow up on. Because sometimes we get tips that we can't follow up on. It's just a statement somebody's making. So with that, you have a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So the credit card being discovered separated from wherever Riley is and potentially separated from his wallet. Some would say that could potentially go either way. Sure, maybe it just fell out and he didn't even realize, or maybe it was forcefully removed. So how do you decide which it is and which side to lean on, whether missing person versus criminal? Because a lot of folks would say, well, that could certainly indicate, or lay people would say, that could certainly indicate criminal activity.
Once we recovered the card, it was secured and processed properly to where it can be examined as far as going into a criminal matter at a later time if it's so needed.
How does the United Cajun Navy fit into MNPD's command structure?
We pretty much allow our people with the emergency contingency section and USAR to coordinate with them, because we do cold case investigations. We don't handle that part. So our job is typically to get them in touch with them and let them coordinate between the two, because they have the knowledge and expertise, and they know how to communicate with one another and schedule with each other what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. It would be kind of a moot point for us to step in the middle of that, other than to act as a liaison to get them in contact with one another.
You said get them in touch with them.
With one part of our department that handles like the urban search and rescue and the boat searches and everything, we get that unit in contact with Mr. Flagg.
So they're coordinating their actions.
That's what we plan, because our resources are coming back out this afternoon.
Sorry, I'm going to stop it right there for a second. I want to we will come back to this. But, I'm going to play this little clip. We will get back to this part, I promise. But let's see here. This is, they say, how does a 6'7" college student disappear? I don't know. How do little kids and babies just vanish into thin air, you know? I don't think height and all that has, a college student has anything to do with it. But this is his family, which I think is important to listen to this, because there's a point I want to say here. Then we'll skip back over here.
Yesterday, the Nashville police held a special briefing for Riley's family. They were able to look over evidence and ask the police officers questions. Riley's parents join me live now. His mom and stepfather, Michelle and Chris Whited.
Y'all
and
tell
his
me if
father,
anything's weird
Ryan
about
Gilbert.
this.
Thank you to all three of you for taking the
Can
time
y'all hear
tonight
me
to speak
talk?
with me. And may I just say, I am so sorry for what you are all going through. I can't imagine the stress that you're under and how traumatizing this must be. So let's get right to it. Let's help to drill down what we know and get the public working hard. So Michelle, you met with the police yesterday. Were they able to share anything with you that was at least satisfying? Anything that you're able to share with us or not able to share with us?
No, they just let us know where they are in the investigation and the videos that everybody has seen.
So what the media knows and what the public knows is the same as what you know, right?
Just a little bit. They, just so you know, we requested the meeting Friday afternoon late that we get to see the video footage. We had not seen anything or really heard from them too much throughout the previous week. So we were getting frustrated. We wanted to see what they had. So it's not like this was one of those deals. It came up after we called them to tell them that the TikTokers had found the debit card because they didn't know that it had been found. Supposedly, they didn't know that the call had came in. We arrived before the police.
So I'll tell you what, I understand the sensitivity that you all are under. You do not want to criticize the police because right now they are your lifeline to continuing this investigation, to finding Riley. On the other hand, I can. And I am steaming mad that I interviewed a woman who works with the homeless who says she could have sworn she saw that shirt on a homeless man who was acting in an unusual way, had an unusual behavior, and that he had a bike, which is not normal, didn't ask for food, which is not normal, and that the shirt was perfectly clean underneath his dirty hoodie. And she has not been questioned, even as of today when we checked back with her. So, Chris, I'll just ask you if you were able to talk to the police about this, if they mentioned anything about it, if they've discounted it in any way, and why.
They have not mentioned that to us at all. We are aware of that. We've heard the same comment. We've also heard multiple people that have tried to call Crime Stoppers and leave tips and been told they don't know anything about a Riley Strain case. So lots of confusion. We're struggling. We're 10 days in, it's
yeah. I can imagine. And I'll tell you what, like I said, I can criticize the police. I agree that you guys just have to keep your heads up and work with them. But Ryan, I will also say this, to have TikTokers who volunteered to look for Riley, find that bank card in what looked like a homeless mess of discarded clothing and junk on the riverbed, made me really angry because I feel like it was right in the vicinity where Riley's phone pinged and that there should have been a grid search done. This was found days and days after perhaps it should have been. Ryan, are they saying anything about that card and about the fact that it was TikTokers, not the police, that found it?
No, there hadn't necessarily been anything said about that. One would assume that since it was found in the vicinity of his last known whereabouts, that should have been canvassed pretty good. I think it just shines light on the B- job that the police force may be doing and following through and being detailed on this case. I know they're overwhelmed, but it was at the location, you know.
It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening that a member of the public who just wanted to help was able to find a critical piece of evidence that had the police done a grid search in that exact same area, might very well have seen it too. For instance, they're a lot more trained at searching than, say, a TikToker. But Michelle, it came to our attention today that Riley had been on the phone with, I think, either a girlfriend or somebody he had maybe started seeing. I'm not sure. Maybe you can characterize the relationship. And I think she asked him that night, "Are you having fun?" And the only text that she got back said something like, "Good lops," LOPS. And she couldn't understand what that meant. Can you shed some light on that communication, when it happened, what the circumstances were, and what happened afterwards?
I'm not able to. I don't know the communication that happened between him and her. I'm not sure which. He's got several friends that are female, male. I mean, I don't know who that individual was that he talked to at that time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click
So what do y'all think about that? Right, Snacks? Me too, Lip Lock. Right. Snacks, I don't know. Did he have his wallet on it? Because a lot of people go out and they'll just take their ID and debit card, But did you notice the kind of family dysfunction with the mom, stepdad, and the father? Like the stepdad was the one mainly talking. If that was my kid, I'm going to talk if I was a father, And he doesn't have his father's last name. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go back to the press conference.
And that's kind of our goal is with Mr. Flagg here today is get him in touch with the supervisors over in that unit so they can make that coordination.
And then at what point would your office decide to no longer continue
until we have no other actionable leads? But because we work cold case, we continue working it until we just have nothing. And as new information comes in, we continue to pick it right back up and go right back to it. This is not going away. This is not going away anytime soon. And I have detectives that work cold case homicides that are decades old, and we continue to work on those. In fact, one of my detectives has been able to close 2 of them last year. So I say that to say this isn't going away. We keep going until we have absolutely nothing, no new tips, no traces of anything to follow up on. But until that happens, we're still going to be out here doing everything.
How would you describe the actionable leads in front of that NPD right now?
In what regard?
You said we're going to keep going until we have no action.
Meaning, if somebody calls in with a theory, okay, that's one thing. But unless they're giving us information like a name, a location where they saw a suspicious person, thought they saw a piece of an item that belonged to Riley, that doesn't help us. So we have to filter through to look for the things they're saying. Hey, around this time I saw John Doe at this location. He might have been wearing a similar shirt, or maybe he was talking to Riley. That's actionable. That's something we can follow up on. We can look for video cameras in the area. But when they just say, I just saw a homeless guy in the area, that doesn't help us because it's nothing we can follow up on. Does that help?
So enough of those actionable leads are still coming in right
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes, sir. And actually, that's why we were late coming up here, is because we've been following up on more of those.
When we last heard from you guys on Thursday, you were still waiting on cell phone and Apple Watch data. Have you received all of that at this point? And if you have, what have you been able to find from it?
At this point right now, what we have originally from Apple is what we're working off of, and all of the location data is what we've already released. So at this point in time, that's the same information we're going to be working off of.
I have a simple question. On the video that I saw, a lot of people moved around, and they couldn't go to something to help the show. And maybe we should push the national, but if you see that happen, don't be afraid to help somebody. I mean, literally, on that video, I saw a lot of people. They saw how drug that got there. It could have been stopped. Somebody could have said, hey, man, help, are you okay? Especially once you see somebody falling.
You're 100% correct. And unfortunately, that is the state of our society.
I know everybody's
today.
scared to help somebody.
And I agree with you 100%. Nashville population, if you see something, say something or do something.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Because I watched that, I'm like, nobody did anything to say, hey, man, this guy shouldn't be out walking around.
Right, right.
So,
any other questions?
God bless you guys.
Can you say your name and spell it one more time and your title?
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler, Chandler.
I'm Sergeant Robert Nielsen, Nielsen. Metro National Police Department, Cold Case Unit. You had a question, sir?
Could you all just go over again what it is that you say that there's no sign of foul play in this investigation this time? Is it a lack of evidence to the contrary, or do you have other information that suggests that?
Well, right now it's a lack of any evidence of a crime being committed. A lot of people have come up to us with various items claiming that it's indicative of it. And please understand, as a supervisor, I've been working homicides for 10 years. He's been working for a long time as a detective. And we're skilled in criminal investigations. What, evidence can be different possibilities, whether physical evidence, whether it's digital evidence or whatever. And if we don't have anything, like we don't at this point, that indicates that there's any indication of foul play, then if we go down that rabbit hole, then we're wasting resources and time from possibly looking for him, because now we're looking for evidence of a crime. And while we're open to the possibility it could be a crime, I mean, obviously there's always that possibility, right? But we haven't seen anything. And just because his bank card was found there, just because somebody heard something, until we have more to shore that up, we can't say that a crime occurred. So as soon as we have anything, if it exists, that indicates a crime occurred, assault or whatever the case may be, we immediately follow up on that. But we have to have evidence or probable cause. And a lot of people don't understand what probable cause is, but we have to have probable cause a crime even occurred. So that's why it's easy to jump to those conclusions. But that's where we have to tell people, this is why we don't do things at an accelerated rate. We have to do things methodically, like Mr. Flagg and his team, they do methodical searches, right? Our urban search and rescue, they do methodical searches, because if we just jump to conclusions every single time, we could actually miss more evidence, whether there was a crime or not, but still evidence of where he'd been or what happened to him, if we're just running all over the place going, oh, what crime happened? But now we're not looking over here anymore. Does that make sense? Does that help? Not that I'm aware.
In which regard?
As far as physical evidence,
no, outside the debit card,
Yes,
that's the only physical evidence we have right now.
Oh, and somebody did find a phone, but I just want to put out there, it is not a phone that he had. He had an Apple phone. This was a Google Android phone. So I know that that's been a question that's come up as well. I just want to go ahead and clarify that.
Sorry, you said someone found any phone.
Yes, ma'am. They found it in the vicinity. They brought it to us immediately while we were out there Sunday. We did collect it just because we don't know who it belongs to. Don't know if it is in relation to this case. But right now, it's not his phone. We know that because we know he had an Apple phone, Apple Watch. This was an Android device.
They were all on Broadway.
Given that there are so many search areas now, search engines that are now anticipating this effort, are you positive? How positive are you that Riley is still?
Well, we're not, but we're searching everywhere. Last Friday, we got a call that they thought they saw him up towards the Titans practice field somewhere, and we went out there and looked. So we're not just limited to here, but when we have somebody go missing, you have to start with the last place they were seen. You can't be that for a fact that they were seen. You can't just go, well, I thought I saw him over here, because a lot of people think that the video cameras everywhere catches everything, and they don't. We have people claiming there's video across the river, but some of them don't reach this riverbank. So if we start searching over there, but we don't know he was over there, but we know he was on this side of the river, this is going to do us more good, because that's going to allow the people that are trained in doing searches to have a starting point and have more tangible things to look at as opposed to just going around and speculating which areas he could be. Obviously, if we have something that leads us further down, we will. But right now, that's why the areas that they're focusing on is this immediate area, because we know for a fact that was his last known point of contact with anyone.
We know Riley was asked to leave the bar around 9:35. We've seen subsequent videos, but can you give us a timeline of where he was at on Broadway or other places in the city prior to the Giants bar?
Prior to that is he was here with his friends enjoying a night on Broadway. Our focus begins when he leaves from that location, and then he starts going up 3rd Avenue to Church Street and proceeds over the Gay Street corridor right below us, because that's where he went missing.
But there was a big question of whether or not he was overserved on Broadway. When Brian's bar came out and said he had one drink. Were there other bars that he was at that you guys are looking into on whether or not he was overserved?
We're pulling video surveillance from every location that we're aware that he was at. As far as this time right now, like I said, our focus is on locating Riley. Anything subsequent from that will be followed up once we've concluded that part.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of end it there for us. We have some follow-ups we have to do right now, but our PIO office will definitely be putting out more information as we get it. The family, we've been in contact with them and updating them as soon as we can. So appreciate your time. And if you have any other questions in the meantime for our department, please focus them to our PIO for today. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Fly. Yes, sir.
So just real quick, I wanted to tag on to a question that was asked about the Cajun Navy's relationship with MNPD, and it's a cooperative relationship. We're not under their command, they're not under our command. However, we do defer to them first. We don't take any significant actions without checking with Detective Chandler first.
Every time we get a little bit of evidence, there's 100 more questions.
Fox 17 News at 9 with more breaking news. 2 new discoveries creating new questions tonight in the disappearance of Riley Strain. He's the college student that vanished after leaving a downtown bar over a week ago. Now his family and friends are directing some of those questions at Metro Police after TikTokers found Strain's debit card. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino in daily contact with Riley's family and sharing new updates and their new concerns.
I spoke to Chris Dingman, a close family friend, who tells me there are some concerns over this case. For example, why it took 2 days for a detective to actually be assigned to this investigation, and why it's still being considered a missing persons case as opposed to a criminal investigation, which could bring in more resources. He says he is grateful that TikTokers did find the bank card belonging to Riley Strain just down this embankment here near that wall close to the river. A day after a stunning discovery by 2 young women on TikTok.
And my stomach dropped.
Riley's bank card, found on a riverbank near where he was last seen, is now being analyzed for fingerprints.
How many people have looked at that particular scene and been on it, and it took those specific young ladies to find that card?
But Chris Dingman, a family friend working daily with Riley's parents on any leads, tells Fox 17 News there are concerns over how Metro Police are handling the search. We sent police a list of questions, including why just today this officer body cam video.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Showing Riley in his last known location by the James Robertson Parkway Bridge and the river was released 9 days after it was captured. We asked why an actual detective wasn't assigned to the case until 2 days after Riley was reported missing, according to his family.
I wish something would have been done sooner. We've discussed this. The first 48 is so crucial.
There's also this surveillance video that Fox 17 News exclusively uncovered of Riley crashing into a pole, then holding his head. An employee at the shop who released the video to us saying as of 3 days later, he still hadn't been questioned by detectives.
You know, don't shoot the messenger, but I think if we had people with badges right now that was covering this as strongly as the media has, we'd have Riley home.
After Riley's card was found yesterday, more concerns as to why the area wasn't intensely recombed by police.
My TikTokers were extremely confused why
Nothing was taped off.
And perhaps the most pressing question for Riley's family, why more resources haven't been brought in as police still consider this a missing persons case and not criminal.
It blows our mind that, you know, the card that was found yesterday in the family's mind is evidence that there was a crime, yet we're being told, well, that may not be what it takes to reclassify this from a missing persons. And that is very frustrating.
The Uvalde Foundation announcing Sunday it's sending volunteers to help in the search effort, stating, quote, volunteers are focusing on the downtown Nashville area as they do not believe current searches along the Cumberland River will produce results. Metro Police not directly answering any of Fox 17 News' questions, but saying in an email, no evidence of foul play has surfaced as work continues to locate Riley Strain. On Sunday evening, Riley's parents met with some of the detective team and received a full briefing on the work being done. They were also shown available video. And Chris Dingman tells me he understands that Metro Police are dealing with staffing shortages, as are many police departments across the country. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Yeah, the card was not muddy. It was in perfect shape. I don't know. I still feel like he's in the water, trapped, you know, and budged into something or something. I don't know. I don't feel foul play unless he was robbed. And then, like they said, that homeless guy, somebody went to feed him, you know, that goes and helps them. And that day, that one of the homeless people didn't want no food. He had on new clothes. He had a new bicycle. I mean, it could just be a coincidence, you know, you never know. I don't know though, because usually homeless people, they really don't fuck with people, you know, because they don't want in trouble and all that. And I've known of a lot, well, you know, and here and stuff, homeless people get robbed and shit too. Good night, HP. I love you. Oh, Snacks, his pings went to that river, but that doesn't mean he was there. If it was foul play, in my opinion, the pings would be someone taking him to the river. Does that make sense? But how is someone going to carry or transport a 6'7" dude? I don't know. People do rob homeless people, High Priestess. They absolutely do. Oh, you're good, Lip Lock Love. Homeless people get robbed a lot. People are fucked up. They rob the homeless. I think he was robbed too. But honestly, I don't feel like there's foul play. It did fit, didn't it, Megs? It still fit. I was going along with it. And it's kind of crazy, Nashville, because Nashville's a pretty good city. And everybody's like, oh, Nashville's now violent. All big cities have violence like this. This is nothing new. Now, you go to Memphis, Tennessee, they off the fucking chain. They go on Facebook Live and show their crimes, you know? You know, maybe a homeless person did see him unconscious or something and robbed him, but it could have been anybody. It's just don't blame the homeless first thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like people always want to blame drug addicts first thing. Yeah, Lip Lock, 2 TikTokers found it. They were live on TikTok and they found it. I love Nashville. Let's see here. Let's see. Here, we'll play this one here about the debit card being found.
Today, a major find in the case of missing University of Missouri senior Riley Strain. Welcome to News 2 at 10. I'm Kenley Hargett. Volunteers discovered his debit card as they were helping search along the Cumberland River News 2's Nikki McGee shares this discovery 9 days after Riley was last seen.
Yeah, Kinley, well, I can tell you this has been a long and grueling search for Riley's family. Many of these search efforts being concentrated to right here where Riley's phone is believed to have been last pinged, either on top or below this bridge. But as you mentioned, today, a major break in the case right behind me here. Several women out searching discovered his debit card at the very bottom next to the Cumberland, and they hope this will lead police to a more narrow search and hopefully get answers for Riley's family.
I just met up with Brandy today. Like, I found her through TikTok, and it doesn't make sense that something so public, like, I feel like people should be here. People should be looking.
On Sunday, social media connected two Nashville women in the search for missing Mizzou student Riley Strain. And it didn't take long for them to come across a major discovery, his debit card.
She yelled, "I found his card."
Yeah, I did.
And we immediately.
And my stomach dropped. And then my innate reaction was to be like, let's keep looking. Like, I didn't know what to do. She's like, well, let's call somebody. And I was like, well, let's keep looking.
Police confirmed on Twitter Sunday afternoon the bank card did in fact belong to Riley. Brandy Bainan, who has been searching the area since Tuesday, hopes this will lead to an even bigger search along the Cumberland.
I want the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations to be involved. This needs to be involved as a criminal case right now, not just a missing person, in my opinion, just to make sure we are crossing off everything that we need to cross off.
Both of these searchers encourage others to do what they can to assist in the search for Riley.
The fact that I could come out here in one day and myself find the card.
And look for a blue wallet, look for brown boots that are flat-toed, a size 15. Those are big boots. That's going to be hard to miss, you guys.
Above all, they don't want to see the case go cold. Bainan wanting to share this message with Riley's family.
Their faces and Riley's face, I'm seeing every time I close my eyes. I haven't been able to sleep the last few days because I know his mom is not sleeping. And I just need them to know that there is people who do care as much as they do, and even about Riley and about them themselves, and that we really, really hope they are able to take care of themselves through whatever this outcome comes to.
Now, this evening, I did speak with Riley's parents here on scene. They were on their way to go talk to police, and that was a meeting they originally had set up for tomorrow morning. In the meantime, if you have any information in this case, of course, you're asked to give them a call right away. Reporting live in downtown Nashville, Nikki McGee, News 2.
Thank you so much, Nikki. News 2 will have continuing coverage as officials work to locate Riley.
Yeah, something is definitely up with the credit card. There's a homeless encampment, Snacks, for sure. They verified that. Okay, then here is some video. This is on Law and Crime. He even walked by a police. My heart breaks too. It is sad, this college student actually trying to do good, and something's off here. I don't know, but I still feel it was just a freak accident. He might have went somewhere and passed out. You know what I mean? And like I said, the water on that bank where they found the debit card was up like so many feet higher than it was when they found the card. But if they found a debit card, like if he was in the river and it floated out of his pocket, surely they would have found other information too, you would think. Hey, Eve Love. But here's where they, the video footage. Look before he gets right here to this point, to the cop. You can see him running. And then he slows down when he gets to the cop.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Brand new video shows the last known sighting of Riley Strain, the college student who's been missing for more than a week.
You saw him staggering in the street. He falls down and kept walking and says hello to the police. So up to this point, there's no foul play.
And the newest clue in the case revealed when Riley's bank card is found along the river in downtown Nashville.
So you have a person that's from out of state walking in the street.
What if someone knew that the police had searched that bank and stuff, and then afterwards they threw the card there? You know what I'm saying?
Where is he going?
To break down everything we know about the case so far, we sat down with private investigator Gil Alba.
11 days that he's missing. Where could he be and why is he missing this long?
Here's the timeline as we know it, leading up to Riley's disappearance. The 22-year-old college senior was in Nashville for a conference with his Delta Chi frat brothers.
They need to get some people in there, underwater searchers like that, not AWP, but like Doug that's doing his own thing now from AWP or somebody like that. They need to get some sonar and boats in there and look that area. I don't get why they haven't done that yet. Get some divers to go down there. Because honestly, if he fell in right there and stuff, it's not like he's going to be out in the middle of the lake unless there was a really high current or something. You know what I mean? And do bodies float at first or sink then they float after they fill up with gases and stuff? I think he's wedged under the water somewhere. Good point, Snacks. Good point. I'm curious if there was any charges after he left the bar on that debit card. Right, Megs. I can't believe they haven't had some sonar and stuff in there searching. Thank you, Eve. Float then sink? I would think you would sink then float. I don't know how that works, actually. But I think he's wedged under that water. I really do.
The group was visiting from the University of Missouri, where Riley studies business. On Friday, March 8th, Riley
That's
and
what I
friends
thought,
were
Snacks.
drinking
They
at
sink
Luke's
then float because the
32
gases.
Bridge Food and Drink. That's Luke Bryan's bar in downtown Nashville. Riley was kicked out of the bar after staff there determined he'd been overserved. According to a statement released from Bryan himself, quote, "Our records show he purchased and was served 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. At 9:35 p.m., our security team made a decision based on our conduct standards to escort him from the venue through our Broadway exit at the front of the building. He was followed down the stairs with 1 member of his party. The individual with Riley did not exit and returned upstairs." After all this, Riley spoke on the phone with one friend, saying he was headed back to his hotel. But minutes later, at 9:52 p.m., Riley is almost a mile from the bar along the Cumberland River. We know this because he was caught on body camera video walking by an officer. According to the Metro Nashville Police Department, Officer Reginald Young was in the area responding to a call for a vehicle burglary. Body camera video shows the officer looking at a red truck with a broken window.
Okay, watch this here. I'm going to take it back some and watch it in slow motion, but watch before he gets to the police. This is going to be in slow motion. I'll speed it back up, but just watch this. I'm going to kind of mute it. I'm going to mute it through this because it's going to sound weird because it's slowed down. But watch this. It looks like he's running before he gets there, and then he slows down. See, watch, see? Let me take that back again here. Let's see here. Maybe I got it too slow. Watch when he comes. You can see him coming. See there? He was running. There were several ones where he was running. I just think he was running because he was disoriented. And see how he slowed down? Okay, now let me take it back in normal speed here. Go back again. Sorry, I just want to see this. Him running. See? He was jogging like. Did you see him? Could be his drink got spiked lip lock. Absolutely could be. But he had been to 2 bars previous. Yeah, I would like there's gotta be more, like, street cam footage and stuff, right? You would think? Maybe he got, like, paranoid and freaked out and stuff and why he was running.
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
According to Alba, Riley seemed normal in that video.
They saw that body camera. You know, his demeanor was like a regular person walking there and saying hello. He's on camera for, just seconds, but it was definitely him. So where is he going and what is he doing and what is he thinking? So you definitely have to keep searching all over. You can't stop searching for him.
On top of the body camera video, surveillance video caught Riley on cam after he was kicked out of the bar. The first video shows Riley walking alone down the street. Riley
This is
appears to be
after he hit his
stumbling
head.
along as he walks. In a separate video, Riley can be seen running before falling over. He then lays on the ground and appears to struggle standing up before he walks away. Yet another video shows Riley apparently disoriented when he stumbles onto the curb after crossing the street. Up next, he stops walking, turns in a complete circle, and then stumbles off again. According to former CIA officer
He's
and FBI
disoriented.
agent Tracy Walder, Riley appeared very intoxicated.
In my opinion, it's incredibly sad. It sounds to me like he was probably asked to leave the bar because he was quite intoxicated and most likely creating, I guess, a scene, if you will, there.
Walder says things could have turned out differently had Riley's friends stayed with him.
I don't mean to blame his friends.
Okay, and like that one cop that had the body cam footage of him, Snacks, those people were out, listening for cars being broken into. If there was like a commotion or robbery or something, you would kind of think they would have heard it, maybe those cops, because they were like listening for chaos and stuff, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Looks, I don't know, something. I think the Nashville and all these big cities like this, they just see so many drunk kids and stuff. They just don't think nothing about it, maybe,
Friends. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have a friend who, gosh, I had known since she was 5. And she was actually murdered. She was the victim of a serial killer when she was a freshman in college. And she was asked to leave a bar because she was too intoxicated. And her sorority sisters didn't accompany her home. And as a result, she was kidnapped and killed by a serial killer. And I think that you need to stay with a friend. A friend needs to go with you, especially when you are that intoxicated. And I'm not saying that he was murdered by someone else. He could have fallen into the river and drowned in the state that he was in. But that is a very dangerous state. And so I think it's highly problematic that he was left to go on his own. It's a delicate situation. I don't want to blame his friends. But I guess that's my message for younger folks in these kinds of situations, to always have a buddy with you.
While police say foul play is not suspected, Walder says it's still unclear what led up to his disappearance.
I'm obviously just hypothesizing at this point. I personally think because there is a body of water nearby and because this is a city that he's not necessarily from. He goes to Mizzou, right? This is a place they go once a year.
And they also stated, I don't remember where, but like this city where he was at, the land goes downhill. Does that make sense? So maybe that's why downhill to the river. I don't know.
Year, it sounds like, for basically a fraternity formal or something like that. So it's a place he's not familiar with that well. And so I personally think that he got lost or passed out and suffered, death from alcohol intoxication. That's just my guess. But again, I'm completely hypothesizing here.
Riley's phone has been off since March 8th, when it was last pinged at about 10:15 p.m. But since his disappearance, we've learned of his last text message sent to a female friend. She had asked how the trip to Nashville was going, and he replied, quote, "Good lops." So far, it's unclear what exactly that message means. What's also unclear, how Riley's banking card ended up alongside the river without any sign of Riley himself. What's interesting to me is it likely would be in his pocket or in his wallet. So if he and his whole body went into the river, I would think it would go with him or wherever he went. So why would the card be alongside the river without Riley?
So when you get missing persons and they want to harm themselves, they don't want anybody to find them. So they shut off their phone. If they have a car and they leave their car there, they'll leave all their identity, their keys, their phones, and all their identification in the car. Now, that credit card may be the only set of identification that he had with him, or maybe his wallet or something, which probably will be found, because if he went in the water and he's found, I'm sure he's not going to have any identification on him. I'm just surmising that that's possible, but that's what happens. That he just wanted to get rid of his any identification about himself. If that's the case of him going in the water. Otherwise, why somebody could have found that even from the bar, and then they just threw it out because they couldn't use it. So that's another reason. But you have to take everything in account. What could possibly happen, and what can you search?
Alba says it's possible Riley doesn't want to be found.
I had a case where one of the kids didn't want to be found right away, so he took off into Canada, and he didn't want to be found. So he got rid of all his IDs and all that. But then eventually I found him and he came back. So this could be another reason, like he doesn't want to really be found at this particular time.
It's also possible Riley made his way into the river.
Now he could have been drunk and fell in. That's one way. Another way is he could have just walked in and drowned.
I don't see that he wasn't wanting to be found. That just don't make sense to me.
So far, the Metro Nashville Police Department has conducted air and land searches, including in the river. All searches have turned up without Riley.
So the police are now looking for him, and they have volunteers.
Exactly, Snacks.
They have these rescue squads. So they were all looking for him. They had drones. They got boats on the water. They spoke to the homeless people by the banks and all that. How far could he go on, and where does it go?
Alba says investigators should focus on the last place he was seen along the river.
So from where he was last seen, I would draw a circle right around there, put a bullseye right where he was last seen, and just keep going out a little bit in an area, maybe quarter of a mile, half a mile, in that direction.
Investigators should also look at the waterways that connect to the river.
I would suggest that someplace that where the currents go, that they could look over there, and they may find the body. I'm not even sure where that river goes out, but if it goes out someplace to a broader river or a broader lake or wherever it goes into, those are, at some point the currents are going to shoot down there.
Alba says it's also important to consider Riley's mental health leading up to his disappearance.
What mental state is he in? Does he want to go back home? Now, he was getting along with his mother and all that, so I'm not sure what his family like, or what he's thinking, what's happening to him in life, or depression, or is he on?
Why is this dude being so negative? Like, why wouldn't he want to go back home? Like, what's he got in Nashville that he wouldn't want to go back home? This makes no fucking sense. This doesn't fit what we've seen. This dude's
medication or anything.
Since Riley vanished, multiple homeless people have reported seeing him. Alba says these reports should be taken with a grain of salt.
You show people flyers, people tend to want to help.
Okay, so they're not going to believe the homeless people that had a very good chance of seeing him. But he's going to say that the kid didn't want to go back home. Why wouldn't he? He was in college. It was a trip. I mean, he don't know nobody in Nashville. What would he do? Live with the homeless? Right, Lip Lock. He was a kid. This dude had no plans of running away and never being seen again. This don't make fucking sense. Makes no sense. It's bullshit, in my opinion.
Help. And they say, yeah, I think I saw him down the block or next block or 6 blocks over, or, hanging out with the homeless people, or I saw him walk by. So you can't take that as a fact. You have to really be advised of whether they're telling the truth or only want to help, or they want to help, or they think they found him. So you just can't go rushing to those places. When you have tips,
Alba suggests the future of the investigation should be more hands-on.
and it's not a search of saying you see him or you don't see him, here's a picture and all that. You got to talk to people. You got to go in those bars. You got to see if there's any videos. You have to see, who knows what could possibly happen, and somebody might have seen him.
And honestly, it's going to be hard. Even if you're drunk, it's going to be hard to kidnap a 6'7" man, because that's a very unrare height of people. And I don't see a little weak homeless person. No.
And say, well, listen, I did see this guy. He did fall down here, and he was between the houses or something, but I didn't know that was him.
And while the Metro Nashville Police
Snacks, I think that SF Investigates is on it, which I'm not too fond of him because how he done in Kylie's case, but he is on it, and he's trying to keep the tragedy pimps away from it, like Olivia and Bullhorn Betty. I don't know if SF Investigates is actually hired to help this, but he is covering this case. As long as they don't get Jim motherfucking Terry the scum on it.
Police Department is leading the investigation. Alba says Riley's family will play a large role in the search.
The big difference is here that the families from out of town, how long could they stay looking for their son? The police are looking and they're doing everything. You have volunteers that would help. The more time goes by, the less people come to help. So here you are with the family, and the family maybe has to come back home and all that. And what are they going to do and how they're going to do it? This is not up to the police anymore to find this kid. It's the police are helping, and they're going to do everything they can. But the family has to stay tuned to this, and they have to be in charge. So, I mean, if I was them, I would be getting search dogs to go by that river where that card was found. Volunteer search people have the dogs, and I would have them, follow the scent where he went that night, and the family to do this. Once you do this, the police sometimes would follow and say, no, okay, we'll do that. What you don't want to do as a family is sit there and wait for the police to call you, okay? And you're home watching TV and say, where's my son? I hope they call soon. That's not going to happen, okay? What you have to do is the family has to get involved.
Is it possible that he's still alive and out there, or is it more likely at this point that we would recover a body?
As far as I'm concerned, I told you about the water, he's alive, okay? I'm looking for a person that's alive. The family is looking for a person that's alive, okay? They're going to keep searching, because if you think that something happened to him and he's not alive anymore, where are you going to go look for him? So you have to go by the premise that he's alive, and you're going to keep looking for him, and you're not going to stop looking for him. You're going to go all over and do whatever you can to go look for him.
If you have more information about Riley Strain's disappearance, contact the Metro Nashville Police Department. Reporting.
I agree, Snacks. I agree. I agree. Okay, and here is where he is stumbling. This is just a short clip here. Good night, Lip Lock. I love you. See, look, he was running. And then bam, hit that pole. I think that pole's what got him. And this is right after he hit the pole. Slow it down? Absolutely. Let me go back here. I will absolutely slow it down. I'm going to mute it in case the people talk. Here, we'll start over and slow it down. Let's go a little slower and see how that works. Look how tall he was. And that was at 9:46 p.m. You can obviously see him holding his head, and I still don't get why he's running twice like that, though. Maybe he was scared, didn't know where he was going, panicking. You know what I mean? The pings on his phone, maybe he lost his phone somewhere and one of the homeless people. See, watch him hit it. Bam. It's just weird, though, he was running in two of them. I think he was freaking out and lost this. And then this fall here, it's kind of funny they can get all this video footage of this, but they can't get nothing after it. And Nashville is full of surveillance cameras. Mm-hmm. And then after that's whenever he got hurt. And this is still slowed down. You can tell he's looking at his hands like, is there blood or... Was there blood on the sidewalks or anything? Or there's just so much missing, though, really, in this. There he goes again. Bam. Wonder what made him fall. He just got stumbled upon his feet, or... But none of his friends went looking for him or called, or did he have his phone on him at this time? Has it been stated? Did he get robbed previous to this, or... Here, we'll take it back a little bit. See his ankle there. Yeah, it does look like it. He might have stumbled on his own feet, because for me, I can't run on flat land without falling. But when you're that tall, too, you're lanky, and you know what I mean? I think it's just a freak accident, honestly. He may have got robbed, but I don't think that's to do with his disappearance, because a lot of people get robbed and pickpocketed in Nashville, in bars especially. Maybe he left his debit card at the bar and then someone seen this on the news and went and took it to where his last phone pinged. People leave debit cards all the time, you know? My brother is 6'4", snacks, and like he has bad circulation in his legs and everything. It's crazy. I just don't sense foul play in it. The only foul play I would suspense is like robbed or something. I think the concussion got him. And you know, when you're drinking, your blood thins out, you bleed more. Okay, we're gonna watch a little bit of Nancy Grace. I love Nancy Grace. I love her outtakes on this. And then we'll head over to Madeline Soto. More as a crime, you never know. Yeah, Eve, me too. I'm just not getting foul play from this. Where's Sunshine Daydream? I see y'all talking to her. Where's she at? That's my love. Hey, love. Hey, baby. I love her. She's one of the sweetest people ever. Where's she at? I love my Sunshine Daydream. Get you some blue going on here, my love. Hope you're good, Sunshine. I'm going to get you all fixed up in the morning, baby girl. All right, let's see here. Let's watch some Nancy Grace. I love her. Some people don't. I like her. I like her better in Banfield.
Chris Dingman, is there anything you want to add that we left out?
I want to share something with this group, and we can talk if you guys have questions. I know we're playing chess right now. Nancy understands that too more than anybody. Marathon, I reached out to Marathon the Tuesday after Riley went missing to put in context of how much this ball's been dropped at that area. The fact that you reached out also and said, hey, we've never even heard of anything. I want to share something with you guys, and Nancy, I love your passion and you're a mama bear, but I've been in contact with Riley's, and I'm calling her his lady friend. She shared some stuff with me last night, which I'm sharing with the family. She and Riley had a private conversation, and Riley told her, he goes, you're my favorite person. And she goes, really? And he goes, no, wait a minute. You're my second favorite person. And she goes, well, okay, well, who's your favorite? And he goes, my mom. So, yeah, that's the kid we're looking for.
Chris,
I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. So just keep doing it. We'll find Riley.
What time was that? What time was that?
What we know and we have put together, the last ping.
Okay, and yes, the cops say there's no foul play, but cops could be trying to cover their ass. When like other college students come to their town, and where this case is kind of gone a little high profile, maybe they're just trying to cover their ass, and saying that. I don't know.
that the phone did. We think that is the last conversation, and she is the last person to have any correspondence with him. She had asked him if he was having a good time, and he had responded with good lots, L-O-P-S, which was really confusing for her. She's young, and she's like, wow, new slang. I don't. So her and her mom actually
He's
Googled
probably
it.
writing lots, L-O-T-S.
Well, but the funny part with Riley, if you ever communicated with his phone, the kid was extremely punctual, even if he had had a few beers in him, exclamation points, emojis. I mean, he was a very punctual kid, a very intelligent kid. So that correspondence really was odd that, that was said. But
Could you tell me one more time what
99%
it said?
sure.
I want to make sure I understand. What?
It said good, L-O-P-S, lots. Which
Did he ever
we
dictate
don't
it to
know.
his phone? Did he ever dictate the
No.
message?
No.
So he would have typed that. And he was on
Oh,
foot
he
at
was,
night
yes.
walking. I would think
Yeah.
that meant
He typed
good
like that because
lots,
he's drunk.
lots of fun.
I've done it.
I'm very intrigued by what
It's
he
very
was
interesting, but
saying
yeah.
when
Riley
he
would
talked
have
to
finished
her.
it. Yeah.
He seemed to have his wits about him. Chris, what do you think about this homeless encampment? And, I heard Dr. Bethany
yes.
talking about how peace-loving and sharing the homeless community is. I'm not necessarily agreeing with that, but
what I can
do the
tell
parents
you
think
is
about that?
we have
I don't feel the homeless encampment hurt him. I feel he passed out or something somewhere. And yes, he may have got robbed by the homeless, but I don't think they done anything notorious to him. Does that make sense? Yeah, they might have robbed him or whatever, but I'm sure they do that too. It's not nothing new, but they also get robbed as well. Yep, if his drink was spiked, for sure. But when you're drunk texting, you get all blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I don't feel if he is not alive, I don't feel it was malicious. I feel it was over that head concussion. I mean, did they find blood right there where he hit his head? Did they find blood anywhere from where he was walking, Because you hit your head that hard and the way he's down, and then you're drinking, that thins your blood out too, and it's going to make you bleed. So many questions.
We actually have 2 volunteers that have literally been sleeping in the homeless camps that were not homeless, to give you an idea of what we are going to and the outpouring of people. And it, as a dad, it scares the crap out of me that they're there. We've got their phones pinged. They're doing recordings. Yes, I think there's extremely viable information there. This is information for everybody in this group at the moment. The crazy thing is when the TikTok crew hit there, they were already coming to Nashville to protest what the House had done, trying to ban TikTok. We had no idea that there was that huge of a group of TikTokers. They had picked Nashville to come to Nashville to protest, signs and everything. I was blessed to get in touch with 3 or 4 of them, and wow, here we are. It just, I made the comment, we're bigger than Tiger King during Corona. We do have people that are physically in the camps. There are a few people of interest that the police are aware of and they are looking for. But homeless people, 99% of them do not want to be found. They don't want to be bothered. And
What did you just
don't
say?
want
Police
people
are looking for who?
People are looking, the police are looking for a few homeless people that we do have questions for. The young lady from Nashville iterated that, one of the homeless interviews had yelled back up the hill to the gentleman, hey, what's going on? And he goes, nothing, it's a drunk guy. We have the name of that gentleman and we are looking for him. What happened, unfortunately, when everybody went to that specific area, and we have a very limited ground zero for information, a lot of those homeless that was there that evening dispersed and went to other homeless camps in Nashville because they didn't want the press, didn't want to be talked to, didn't want to be seen.
I don't blame them. You want to drag the homeless and blame them because they're homeless. I would leave too. You know what I mean? I would fucking leave too. I would relocate. Quit blaming the homeless, man. It's a fucking problem as it is. You have no proof. None.
We've been blessed with the homeless people that we have been in contact with, though. They know where those camps are. They've given us names of specific people that they knew was in that street or that area or that exact camp. There's actually I'm not sure they're a married couple, but they are a couple that was just down from there about 10 feet. The young lady from Nashville, she'll know the couple I'm talking about probably. They're the ones that, yell back up. But we have names. But right now we're just trying to find which camp they went to.
Right, Snacks. They don't want to end up murder charges that they didn't do. It's so easy to blame the less fortunate in life, and that's fucked up. That's what's wrong with our country. Yep, snacks, correct. I agree. It is crazy. They're just trying to pin this on the homeless so Nashville doesn't get a bad rep, because an out-of-state college student there. But I kind of wonder, why did this case get so much widespread attention? There's so many other cases like this that goes on. Why this one? Something's up.
And what direction they went to. So that
I understand
that
that
with
two
the debit card.
groups of homeless encampments state that they saw Riley.
Yes, somebody had mentioned about across the river at the Titan Stadium. That is actual Tent City.
Yeah.
To give you a demographic, what is where we were at and where Riley was last seen at is and I don't want to be disrespectful. It's more of the Beverly Hills of the homeless community in that area. It is the more organized groups, the organized people, the less offensive, etc. That's not saying that there's not people there. That over in Hill, to give.
Did he just say Beverly Hills?
You a demographic, what is where we were at and where Riley was last seen at is and I don't want to be disrespectful. It's more of the Beverly Hills of the homeless community in that area. It is the more organized groups, the organized people, the less offensive, etc. That's not saying that there's not people there. That over in Tent City.
Hold on here. Look, it says right here, Riley stops at a smoke shop. It's the first I've heard that. It is just weird how he does this and goes straight to the river. What'd he get at the smoke shop? Why'd he stop there?
Offensive, etc. That's not saying that there's not people there. That over in Tent City, and this is literally from our people that are staying in the camps at the moment.
Chris, let me
Tent
understand
City
something. You're saying that the homeless people on the other side of the bridge are saying that they saw him?
No, but the other people on the other side of the bridge where the marathon holding facility is, that is a way more Wild West style homeless camp. That
Did
is
they
where.
see him?
So just to be clear on this, so these cameras are trained out over the river to protect against threats coming.
This guy is kind of, what is it, discriminating against people? Oh, look, there's SF. Let's see what he's got to say.
People coming from the river into the facility, and the same with the Titan Stadium. So we were looking.
State facility is. That is a way more Wild West style homeless camp. That
Did
is
they
where.
see him?
So just to be clear on that, so these cameras are trained out over the river to protect against threats coming of people coming from the river into the facility, and the same with the Titan Stadium. So we were looking at the cameras that actually look under that bridge. And Chris, I know you said you talked to Marathon. Did you talk to Samantha in Ohio, the head of security? Because she's the one who has access to all of the counter cameras that are on the bar, that are on the dock itself. If not, I can give you her cell phone number. I think.
Perfect. Do that. Where we're at is I'm still based in Springfield, but I've been media for a long time. And what we've done is we've created Riley's War Room, and we're doing exactly this. In the mornings when we wake up, we're at lunchtime, and then we come home in the evenings, and we put together everything that we found with our contacts. We actually have a burner phone inside the homeless community right now. Guys, we're trying everything we can, but the marathon deal was extremely frustrating for us.
Did you tell me that, Chris, did you tell me that you have two people that have embedded themselves in the homeless community right now trying to find out information, staying there overnight?
Yeah, which is just phenomenal, but it's
That's
extremely
fucked
dangerous,
up, though.
not knowing the people they're with.
I was going to say too, Chris, you talked
What
about
about
a
the
little
four
bit
cameras?
Police dropping the ball a tiny bit, because it was two TikTokers again who found the card, and we asked police, why weren't you the ones to find it if you combed through the area? But they said they were only looking for clothes and for body, and so it's
Yep. Guys, thank you for the additional information.
Like we said, I'm trying to be a buffer with the family, so we still have a rapport with the police department, but I'm just far enough excluded from the family. I want answers. Everybody here wants answers.
Guys, thank you for.
Something's off with that guy. They need a different spokesperson, because he's just automatically throwing it to the homeless, and that's fucked up. Because the homeless is kind of the weakest link, and wow, I would have moved too. I want no part of that. Okay, this here is another one of Nancy Grace I'm going to play. It's still got some of the same stuff. I'll skip through it if it's the same, but she's got more information in this one. Let me speed it up here. Sunshine Daydream, I don't know if the river is moving fast, but I do know the Cumberland River because it runs through where I grew up in Kentucky, and we used to go there. Lake Cumberland, Cumberland River, and it all runs down through there. Truly, hey love. Right, Megs. They're not going to accept some new people to come in that they don't know into their camp. It don't work like that. And homeless people honestly don't bother people. Yeah, if they see someone, whatever, they might rob them for some food or something, money, but I don't see them. Yeah. Cumberland Gap. I miss being in Kentucky. I love you truly.
At this hour, the mystery deepens in the search for missing Riley Strain. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. How can you turn a deaf ear to this? Listen.
I haven't talked to my boy for over a week. And it's hard.
What do you say to somebody that gives up part of their life to help you find your life? It's amazing.
Thank you for getting the word out and keeping the word out. And please don't stop sharing. Don't stop sharing until we bring Riley home. Please, just continue.
I've got such a bad feeling. Where is Riley? This kid scrubbed in sunshine. This is the boy every mom wants their boy to be like, okay? The apple of his family's eye. You were hearing his mother begging and pleading, crying, trying to speak through tears, asking us to help. Tip line 615-862-8600. Repeat, 615-862-8600. Now is the time for us to act in the search for Riley Strain. And I've got to tell you, 1,000 times, mothers would come to me at trial and even now begging for help. But at trial, you have to keep a clear head, unclouded with emotion, and look at the facts in order to help the family. I want you to hear the original 911 call. Listen.
Who is it that you're wanting to report is missing? We're here on a fraternity formal trip. It's one of my good buddies. Okay. What is his name? His name is Riley Strain. Riley, R-I-L-E-Y, Strain, S-T-R-A-I-N. Okay. Is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian? He's white. He's white, 22-year-old, 6'5", blonde. Okay. And what was he last seen wearing? Outside of Luke Bryan's bar last night at like 10, and then the last time his location on his phone was by the sheriff's office at like 11 p.m. Okay, and what color clothing was he last seen wearing? He's wearing jeans, boots, and a half black shirt, half brown, light brown.
You're hearing a good friend of Riley Strain's calling 911, and how ironic is that one of his last pings, the location on the phone, was at the sheriff's office, around the sheriff's office. No network or phone service since 9:53 p.m. Where is Riley. Joining me in all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. I'm going to play you more of the 911 call because I've learned with working with so many juries as a felony prosecutor, that takes you to the moment, and you can learn so much about probative facts that prove something, that help you find the person. But first, I want to go to a special guest joining us, Chris Dingman, a very dear family friend of the Strains, and you can find them on GoFundMe at Riley Strain. Chris, thank you for being with us. What is the frame of mind of the family right now in the search for their son?
The family's completely devastated. You know, we're 10, 11 days into this. Really, Riley just disappeared in thin air. And we try to keep faith. We keep hope. The ironic part of not having clues means we have hope he's still there, lost. Somebody may know where he is. But it is truly devastating on the family.
And shortly, speaking of clues, we are going to be joined by the woman who may have found the single most important clue as of right now. Back to you, Chris Dingman, a very dear friend and spokesman for Riley's family. How did this whole thing unfold? When did Riley's parents discover he's missing? I mean, it's every parent's worst nightmare. You know, Chris, I work every day, sometimes holding down 2, sometimes 3 jobs because I want to make a college fund for my children to get through high school, you know, give them tutors if they need it, get them to college, give them every opportunity that a lot of people, including myself, never had to make it easier for them. So Riley gets to college. He's doing great. He makes friends in his fraternity. I think it was Delta Chi. Everything's going fine. He goes on their formal, which all the college kids do. And all of a sudden, mom gets a call. He's gone. I mean, how does that happen? You put all your love, all your energy, all your money, everything into helping your children. You think going to college is the thing to do, and bam, he's gone. What happened?
Yeah, the family was actually notified at about 10:30 Saturday morning by his fraternity brothers, wanting to know if they had heard from Riley because, as we all know now, he did not come back to his hotel room. The family instantly told the boys, please contact the police, go down to the police station. They started packing a few clothes together, constantly reaching out for Riley, hopped in a car and started heading that way. This process of reporting Riley missing started actually at 10:30 Saturday morning, and an official report that we have been shown didn't take place till 1:40, sometime in that area. That's how long it took for the boys to actually get somebody to file an official report with. A lot of confusion on why that took that, but yeah, the family was actually notified about 10:30 Saturday morning.
Okay, guys, you're hearing Chris Dingman joining us, a very dear friend of the Riley Strain family. Guys, I want to hear more of that 911 call. Then we're heading straight out to Dryden Quigley, WSMV4 investigative reporter for the very latest. But let's hear the 911 call. Listen.
And you said it last showed outside the sheriff's department, like around that area by the river, by the sheriff's department over there. Okay. Does he have any life-sustaining medications or disabilities? No. You said he has a phone, so it's a cell phone, right? Yeah, it's an iPhone 15 Pro Max. What is the number? But it's hold on. Are you ready? Yes, go ahead. Okay. You said the last 4 were 4198. Yes. Okay. And are you going to be waiting there at the door of the precinct, or are you going to be waiting in your car? I mean, yeah, we're at the front door of the precinct. Okay. I've got the call sent there at the Central Precinct, 601 Green Veterans Boulevard in downtown, right across the Music City Center. We'll get an officer out to you as soon as we can. Please call us back if something changes before they arrive.
So when you look back on everything that happens in every case, you think woulda, coulda, shoulda. They should have done the report earlier. We should have this. We should have that. Bottom line, Riley Strain is missing. His parents asking us for their help. Again, tip line 615-862-8600. So Chris Dingman, you're telling me that the mom and or dad get a message the following morning at 10-ish a.m. They ask the fraternity brother, quick, go, report him missing right now, and they head to the area. Is that correct?
Yes. They were in Springfield, Missouri, where Riley was born and raised, and that's where we are. And instantly, when a parent gets that message, you're mortified. What's going on? Especially when you're 6 or 7 hours away from your kid. And they hopped in a vehicle, threw some clothes together. Was constantly trying to reach out to Riley on their journey there, with unfortunately no response.
Oh, cool. You know what that's reminding me of, Chris Dingman? I'm in New York, where we live with the children. At that time, they were about 8, 9 years old. Had just gotten them to bed, and get a call. My dad is on life support. I get one sentence off to him, Daddy, I'm on the way. Within 15 minutes, we were out on the street in pajamas trying to hail a cab. All right. And the whole way trying to get back home to Macon, Georgia, just in fits, tied up in knots. I can only imagine what Riley's parents were going through as they drove all the way to where he goes missing. And speaking of, straight out to Dryden Quigley, investigative reporter WSMV4. Dryden, thank you for being with us. First of all, describe the area where we believe Riley went missing. Guys, I'm about to go to the woman who has found what could be the single most important physical clue yet. Go ahead, Dryden.
So the last place that he was spotted on the video camera is kind of up a street, and it's going along the Cumberland River, where there's a pretty steep drop off down there. Different areas have steeper than other parts, but you can last see him crossing the street and kind of heading up towards under these 2 bridges where he's last seen.
You know, I'm very curious. Is it true, Dryden Quigley, WSMV4, that Riley was headed toward a homeless encampment?
So along that drop off between the Gay Street and Cumberland River, there's this bank, and it is where a lot of people spend the night and sleep along there, and then under the two bridges as well. Yes.
What people? What people? What Boy Scout campers? Who is staying out there under bridges?
People, yeah, who don't have anywhere else to go. You know, there's a lot of trash down there too, and so that comes into play later when looking for Riley's possessions too.
Is it true that drugs are used in that area by the homeless people?
I can't say that for sure. I haven't seen it myself, but I would believe it's possible. Yeah.
So, did he realize he's headed for an encampment of homeless people where drugs apparently are used openly, as we have seen now developing across the country? Guys, we have been playing the 911 calls. We're telling you the very latest of what you know. But now I want you to hear from a volunteer searcher, Brandy Bainan, who lives in Nashville and possibly has found the single most important physical clue yet. I'm so grateful Brandy could speak to us. First of all, listen to what she tells us regarding what she was looking for when she found the clue.
We were looking for either his boots, shirt, he has a bright blue wallet, any of those indications. But we went down to the embankment and walked along the river until we got to underneath the bridge, which is one of the last known vicinities that he was in. And we started just digging around, rummaging as much as we can. And I want to say we were there into that part for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And there's about 3 ledges, and I'm the third bottom ledge, which is very hard to explain. So I'm sorry if that is hard to imagine. And I saw a card right there and flipped it over to look at the backside because it was just like the bank on the front, and saw his name. And she goes, "Oh my God, we found his card." And I was like, "No, we didn't." And right there, we were both instantly shocked. Our stomachs dropped, and then we were both like, "We have to keep going. Like, this means we have to keep going."
I can't imagine what went through everyone's minds when they realized they have found evidence. Liz, we actually have video and sound of that discovery. Everybody listen.
I don't think they do right here, or at least where that guy's tent is, because he's talking about how cold. What? You found his credit card? We can find his credit card. We gotta hang up. We gotta hang up the phone. Oh my God.
Guys, I'm just trying to take in that moment where they find the piece of evidence. And I want to make something very, very clear. Chris Dingman, this young boy, Riley Strain, has no history at all ever of drug use. Never has been thrown out of school, never has been in treatment, not even a disorderly conduct, crossing the street, jaywalking, nothing. Isn't that true, Chris Dingman?
100%. Yeah, Riley was a straightforward kid. You know, we've had a lot of people question us and go, "I can't believe he's that good of a kid." And all you have to do is ever be just a little bit of his life, just a blimp, meet him anywhere, and you instantly knew that the pictures that everybody's been sharing with him smiling, that truly was that kid. He was an awesome boy, and we want him back, and he is an awesome boy.
You know, you just brought me to tears because it reminds me so much of my son, John David. People are always saying, how can one kid be so good natured and so joyful? I mean, you know what his nickname is here at the house? Awesome. His nickname is Awesome. And I'm just thinking about him, completely innocent. I mean, Dr. Bethany Marshall joining me, high profile psychoanalyst, joining us out of LA. And you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, when I talk about this homeless encampment and how drugs allegedly are being openly sold and used, this is not about Riley going down to get drugs. He has no history of that at all. Zero. He was out with his friends on the fraternity formal weekend. He wanders off alone, and this is where his bank card is found. It's like a lamb being led to the slaughter, Dr. Bethany.
Exactly, Nancy. It sounds to me like Riley was extremely disoriented. He thought he was going back to his hotel room. He no longer had his friends with him, and he was simply walking the wrong direction, and he walked right into the jaws of danger. I mean, what happens in these homeless encampments is that they are communities, Nancy, and everybody in the homeless encampment tends to know each other. They watch out after each other. They sometimes exchange food. They look after each other's kids. They're like little tiny cities. So when Riley walked into the situation—
What in the heck are you talking about, woman? I mean, Dr. Bethany, this is not a commune where they're raising organic food and singing Kumbaya every night. God bless them for their misfortune, but there are drugs being openly sold, hard drugs, needle drugs. Bethany, I don't know what world you're coming from.
Well, Nancy, my family had a ministry working with the homeless for
down
many
there.
years.
I know that.
No,
I
Nancy,
work
it's
with the homeless
very
too.
dangerous.
But
I
the
know
last
it
thing
is
I'm going to do is
dangerous.
send John David and Lucy under a bridge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what I was going to say was that the fact that he was not a part of this group and he walked in made him extremely vulnerable. It was a very precarious situation walking into a group of desperate people. And this is like a child, like a little lamb being led to the slaughter. He did not know what he was getting into.
Guys, I want to circle back to what we know. Again, a volunteer searcher who spends her own valuable private time helping in the search for Riley has found a very significant piece of physical evidence. It's Brandy Bainan, volunteer searcher, and I want you to hear what she has to say about why Brandy is searching for Riley.
I personally started going out Tuesday night. I went out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was doing some TikTok lives with a friend while I was searching because I was kind of going on my own. And Anna happened to see one of those TikTok lives, and she messaged me and asked if she could come join the next day, and she did. And that gave me the ability to be able to go all the way down to the embankment because I couldn't just do it with myself in case something were to happen. No one would know, or my friend on TikTok wouldn't really be able to help me. So Anna was brave enough to go down with that with me, and so we went searching, and we happened to find something.
There is no way in HELL, no way in HELL that Riley Strang, did you hear what she just said? That she didn't know she was brave enough to go down the slope into that area. She was afraid, and that is in broad daylight. And here walks in Riley into this area late at night. What happened to him? Where is he? I need to get a clearer picture about exactly where the bank card was found. Let's listen to Brandy Bainan.
It was in an embankment. So there was like there's a brick wall because there is so we're underneath the bridge. So then if you're up on the sidewalk, there's a fence and there's a brick wall that comes down if you're under the embankment then. And then that brick wall kind of turns into some mud and rocks, trees. And then that goes into another ledge, similar ledge, which goes into another one, which then goes into rocks, which then turns into the river. So it was in that third little ledge of mud, dirt. And then you have to, and right now in Nashville, it is full of garbage there. So we were actually rummaging through trash. Absolute trash, everything that you can imagine, including things that were dangerous to us, like we saw some needles and things like that.
Yeah, Bethany, the peace-loving people down under
needles and stuff is in every fucking state, every
before I
city.
would let my children go down there. And here's Riley Strang. I mean, he's basically straight out of high school, and there he goes. But hold on, I'm just trying to get an understanding about what Brandy Bainan is saying, because from what she's describing, there is no way that bank card of Riley Strang's could have fallen in that location. Let me understand.
No.
Listen what Brandy Bainan says about the card's location.
I personally do not think that card could have landed there from just like stumbling and losing a card out of your hand, because it would have had to go down a few ledges. Now it has been some time that's passed since the 8th, and then we did have rain on the exact week after that Friday. So I don't know what that would do at all, if that would affect it at all. But when we found the card, it wasn't actually covered up that much. There was some leaves, and she saw the blue in it.
Guys, we're trying to determine the significance of the location of Riley Strang's bank card. And I have a reason for doing this. I remember in one murder case, and the guy was a serial killer, but I could get him on one case. It was Jane Doe. And I found one of her earrings in a particular location. And the fact that it was there proved volumes to me. I learned that was a tertiary crime scene, which led me then to the secondary and the primary crime scene because of that one earring. Now let's think what this bank card means. Liz, if you don't mind, I'd like to see the video with the sound again of when they find the bank card. Let's watch that.
I don't think they do right here, or at least where that guy's tent is, because you're talking about how cold. What? You found his credit card? We can't find his credit card. We gotta hang up the phone. Oh my God.
Did you see that terrain? Did you see those rocks? Riley Strang was not going on a leisurely stroll amongst these rocks down by the river. That did not happen. And back to Dryden Quigley joining us, investigative reporter WSMV4 Nashville. I understand that one of the homeless gentlemen that was there claims that he heard a, quote, commotion around the time we believe Riley Strang may have been there. What can you tell me about that, Dryden?
So I didn't speak with that homeless person myself, but it has been reported that, yes, during around that time, he heard a commotion after he saw Riley walk through there. That's all he said about it or was reported about it, but I didn't speak with him myself.
Also, emerging in the search for Riley Strang is surveillance video. But first, I want to ask Chris Dingman. Chris, very dear family friend of the Strang and speaking for them. Chris, what is the reaction from the parents regarding the discovery that Braden made of the bank card?
I'm extremely happy you're asking me that. I actually had friends of the family that was very close to the young ladies when they found it. I got a phone call Sunday afternoon. They were super excited. They go, "We found this card." And I said, "Can you go to them?" They were within about 100 yards of each other. And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do me a favor." I said, "I know the bank that Riley uses. Unfortunately, and you've dealt with this a lot, there are a lot of people that will do fake cards, fake IDs, and throw them in crime scenes just to be cruel." And I notified the family. The young ladies instantly took a picture of the card, sent to me. I knew at that moment that's Riley's card. I contacted the family, said, "Hey, this is the pinpoint." They dropped me a pin. One of the young ladies, I asked her, I said, "Please dial 911. I'm going to get a hold of the family." The other person that contacted me, she was actually in a close proximity of some police that were actually there with canines and had been searching the area a little bit farther away. I told her, I said, "Please go get the police. take them directly to those young ladies. We need to secure that area. The young girls, as you've kind of heard in their voices, they were just ecstatic. They were nervous. They were scared. And I told her, I said, I need you to do something for me, please. I said, you're about to be bombarded with 100+ people. You guys were live on TikTok. Everybody kind of has a ballpark idea where you are. I need that crime scene secured. Please, if people come up there, tell them to stand back till the police get here so we can do a formal investigation in that exact area. One thing that struck out to me, I don't know if you've physically seen the picture of the card, and I'm glad the young lady brought that up and we discussed this. That card is not dirty. It's not filthy. For a card that had been laying on the ground for 9 days, not in the water or even remotely close to the water, in essence, for the storms that they had, there's constant moisture down there. There's constant wind flow down there. And there was no visible signs of, the Frisbee. The kids leave the Frisbee out in the yard. 2 days later, you go out, it's covered in dew and little dirt particles. That seemed to me to be very, very strange. So I would love to see your take on that.
I find that very interesting, the point that you're bringing out that the card was not weathered at all. Joining me is Steve Fisher, missing persons private investigator, search and rescue specialist, owner of Search Investigations. Find it at searchinvestigations.org. Steve Fisher, thank you for being with us. What does that tell you? I find it very probative.
I think one thing that's important to realize is that the river levels at 10 p.m. The night he went missing were 7 feet higher than when the women found the card. So the water level was significantly higher, which is why you see the different color, the darker rocks. So it's a controlled river. And they had let a lot of outflow out of it. So that could have been submerged and simply the water level coming down, and that would account for why the card is so clean and where it's at.
Hold on. Steve Fisher, what about the fact, as we just heard from Braden, that it was wedged in, it didn't get there innocently?
From what I understand, I did watch the video when they uncovered it. I think it was under some a little bit of debris, and we'll never know for certain. But in search and rescue, we're looking for the last known position, and it's the same spot that the cell phone last pinged at on Life 360. Originally told it was 50 to 100 feet south on the south side of that bridge, which is right where this card ended up also. So I think there's a likelihood that it just could be the water flow is the reason that it was found on the embankment.
Ben Powers is joining us, high-profile lawyer out of Nashville, and you can find him at legalpowers.com. Ben Powers, thank you so much for being with us. What can you tell us about your knowledge of the case and your insight into what's happening right now?
Well, so right now it sounds like the investigation has locked in a really narrow timeline of how that evening went, from being removed from the bar to the various surveillance footage to the ping from the cell phone, all the way to the debit card down at the riverbank. The debit card at the riverbank is curious because it's not with his wallet. There's no other possessions with him, and it was found amongst what we might call trash. But since it is a homeless encampment, that could be personal possessions of someone that lives down there. Maybe they were trying to discard the debit card, or maybe there's no foul play at all. It's a little too early to try to make a determination one way or the other as to that type of conclusion. But the investigation has been very thorough. They've used canines, they've used sonar, they've used helicopters, they've used drones, volunteers, as the volunteers that found the debit card. So it is a very thorough, extensive investigation. It's just that this narrow time frame is so curious because they have him on video going down Gay Street, but they don't have him on video at the courthouse, which is just at the other end of the Gay Street where the video last saw him. And they have an officer that was on scene investigating a claim of vehicle burglary. He didn't hear or see anything out of the ordinary. And they do have one of the benefits of that homeless encampment is, as has already been stated, there's at least one witness that heard some commotion, but that's a relatively large community down there. So I suspect there's other witnesses that just haven't come forward yet with what may have happened that evening.
Well, luckily in this case, we also have grainy surveillance video that is emerging. Guys, I want you to see the most recent surveillance video we have. Dryden Quigley, we see, okay, hold on just a moment. Guys, this is the most recent video surveillance that we have obtained to Dryden Quigley, WSMV4. What are we seeing?
So we're looking right now at Metro Police's body-worn camera. He's out there responding to what I believe was a burglary call, and he runs into Riley. As you can see, Riley's walking by him right there, and he greets him. He says hi. Now Riley keeps walking down that street, and just a few feet away, you can actually see the bridge in the video. That's where Riley's phone last pinged. Now the officer was there for another 45 minutes, and he says he didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. But yeah, you can see it right there. That bridge over there is the last spot that Riley's phone went off. But it took until today or yesterday to have this video come out.
Guys, there's Riley right there on the left. Riley right there on the left. He's coherent. Everything's fine. He's speaking to the officer. The officer looks like he's doing a safety check in a parking lot, just poking around late at night. Let's start it from the beginning again. I want to see everything. Okay, there's Riley. He's walking normally. He's not drunk. He's not on drugs. He's wearing the clothes that were described by his friends. Is he walking toward or away from the bridge, Dryden Quigley?
He is walking towards it. He kind of turns around, so it's hard to see, but yes, Riley's on his way towards that first bridge.
Okay, what would be on the other side of the bridge, Dryden?
So there are two bridges actually, but between them and down the side.
Nana, I agree. And wouldn't there be like blood and maybe particles of his clothing getting ripped or something, I agree.
side. There are usually people either sleeping under the bridge or down the side, again, of the embankment, very close to where his credit card was found.
So you're telling me that the homeless encampment was down the side of that bridge toward which he is headed?
Yes.
Okay. Have there ever been ambushes there of people crossing the bridge or approaching the bridge at night that we know of?
No, not that I know of.
Guys, you are seeing the location where Riley Strain's bank card was found. There is the bridge. Now, I want you to see other surveillance that we've obtained from that night. Now, all of the surveillance together paints a picture. There's Riley walking. He's walking uphill. He's leaning forward a little bit. There you go. Uh-oh, he just staggered. Okay, keep going, Riley. Keep going. That's earlier that evening. There he is. He stops at the corner, turns, and there he is right there. He's jogging along, and he trips. Why was he jogging? What was he running away from or toward? There you see him getting up. We've got it highlighted for you. And look to your right. Look to your right. Eyes on the right. You see what we think is a homeless person walking by in a hood. Here comes Riley. Look, he waits for the vehicle and he crosses the street. Watch his gait. Watch Riley. He's walking along with the other people. Is he walking normally? Okay, he's standing right there at the crosswalk. He does a circle and he keeps walking. Why is he alone? Where is he going? To Chris Dingman, what, if anything, do we know? Where was he headed?
And I can help you out with a lot of your questions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the way the videos were released to us that day is kind of the way that you have laid them out just then. What we do know is the one video where Riley is running through the parking lot and falls down. That is the first video of those three. There was an altercation in that intersection. You'll see right here, Riley comes behind the food truck. There was an altercation with two gentlemen in that intersection. We think Riley was walking up to it, saw the altercation, and decided to go around the back of the food truck, and that's why he was at a little bit of a faster gallop per se. The family, we have personally been to that food truck and looked at their footage. That's how we know. Initially people were thinking Riley was attacked in that intersection. He was not. We think the reason Riley started to run a little bit is one of the people in the altercation started running back towards, and if you'll look back towards the left, there's a fire truck coming up the road. We think one of the people that was in an altercation took off running behind the food truck towards the fire truck. And that's why Riley just microseconds, wow, I need to move. That's why he started running behind the truck. The second video is where he's walking along the wall. It's kind of a dark area. You'll notice he keeps reaching up towards the back of his body. The first video, unfortunately, when Riley goes down, there's a concrete pole for that parking lot, and Riley went into it aggressively. He went shoulders and then hit his head into that as he was going down. In that video, he's there for 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds before he gets himself and his bearings back up. The video too, that's why we think at first we thought maybe he was trying to take his phone to his ear, but after putting the pieces together in order, Riley, was probably rubbing his neck and shoulders from hitting the concrete barricade. That part there where he's walking, the next video where he's crossing the street where the construction barricade is, he walks right along the construction barricade. Whatever happened with him hitting his shoulders and neck as he's coming through here, I think he kind of comes out of the ethers, we say, when you have an abrupt movement against your body, because his body motions go back towards more normal. The fourth video and the last video that we have of anything seeing Riley will be the police video. So I just wanted to help you guys with that and put it in progression so people would understand the timeline. The wild part and the young lady from Nashville with the media, I think this is all within about a 5-minute window and very close proximity of each other of these videos as they go by.
From what I know right now, Steve Fisher joining us from searchinvestigations.org, there has been no additional cell phone activity or bank card, credit card activity since Riley went missing. What does that tell you?
Well, I mean, that tell me that everything stopped right there. And, as we're looking at surveillance, is what literally every case comes down to. And one thing I think is important in this, and, like Chris to know is, right across the river is pretty thoroughly covered. You got Tennessee Titans Stadium, and then you got a Marathon Oil facility. And I've been dealing with the Titans. They did not capture anything. However, the Marathon facility, I talked to the head of security there on Sunday. They had not been contacted by law enforcement. Their barges are literally right across from where that debit card was found, and they have a lot of surveillance because they got to protect that facility against people coming in from the water. So I was in touch with her. They were going to pull all the footage on Monday morning. I let the detective know. He didn't get back to me, but then communication stopped. So I think there was a halt put to that. But I would just want Chris to know that I think there was significant surveillance available right across the river.
So we need that barge video pronto.
Yes. We're supposed to have it. I'm supposed to get that Monday. Yeah.
Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, psychoanalyst out of LA at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, so often citizen investigations, tips are discounted, but if it weren't for citizen sleuths, we would never have found Gabby Petito. That would never have happened. She was out in the middle of nowhere, literally dispersed camping. In this case,
snacks. Hold on, I got cotton mouth, y'all. Whenever you said Kankakee, I knew that was Illinois because I didn't live there, but I stayed there for a few weeks with a friend, and yeah, Kankakee, Illinois. And there's a my career, my carnival career I had. There was some living quarters and stuff there, and we all went up there for some stuff. But yeah, I've been to Kankakee, and a lot of people can't even say it. When you said that, I said, "Hey, that is Illinois." I've been there. I stayed there a few weeks. Yeah, I think it's J&J Amusements or something like that up there. They stay. Yeah, they travel a lot of Chicago area, and yeah, but it's like Kankakee. A lot of people can't even pronounce it. It's like, I don't know. That just brought back memories for that snack.
A private citizen finds the bank card, and I believe there are more people that can tell us where is Riley. I believe that.
Nancy,
So why is that not happening?
Nancy, I was just thinking about Gabby Petito. It was people who were influencers, who were crowdsourcing information. In some ways, Nancy, they were more motivated to solve the crime than the police were. The police see so much, they can become jaded, overwhelmed. Maybe they're understaffed. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But in terms of crowdsourcing information, people care about Riley Strain. They see this blonde, good-looking young man, educated, from a family who loves him, and they want to know what happened. So I'm wondering, are the police plumbing this very rich source? Are they asking other people what happened? Because this is where a lot of clues could be found.
Guys, you're seeing shots of Riley with his family. Again, the tip line, 615-862-8600. If you know or think you know anything about the disappearance of this young man, literally scrubbed in sunshine, please call 615.
For bonus. Oh, this case. It's crazy. I don't know. I just don't feel foul play if he's not alive. Foul play, no, I mean, he might have got robbed, yes, definitely. Maybe that's why he was running. Maybe he passed out somewhere or sat down on a bench to, try to get himself together and got robbed or something. Maybe that was why he was running in that cop video, or, It's kind of cool. Yeah, I know that is kind of cool though that it Snags, because it's like a little, yeah. I stayed there for like 2 months. Oh, Nana, I get that. Yep, same Snacks. I think that's what it was. And after he got robbed, that fucked him up. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think he might have sat down, passed out somewhere maybe, and was getting robbed. But I think his head concussion and him drinking and disoriented stuff, I think that's what got him if he's not alive, in my opinion. Snacks, I've traveled this whole country. I know a lot. I don't know a lot of places, but I do know some. When you said Kankakee, I was like, oh my God. Brings back memories. I lost my glasses, threw them all the way off my face. I went to rub my eye. Okay, there's really not much more on this. I'm going to go over, I don't even know, little Madeline, when I'm going to get going here. Let's see. There's not much new on this actually at all, but I still want to keep her name going. And let's see. Okay, here is this. I'm going to show. Is this here? Okay, here we go. Do y'all follow Vinnie Politan? I love him. Lived in 23 states. I bet we know a lot of places. of the same snacks. Yeah, I'm not traveling no more snacks. I got off the road almost 3 years ago. My mental health got so bad and shit. I had to. Snacks, I don't do well with the kids either. After Harmony Montgomery, I'm sure you've heard of that case. Harmony is the case that broke me, like, and I haven't covered or talked about kid cases since, really, except for the ones that I'd already been into, because my heart hurts too much. But there's just something about this case, Madeline, that I can't stop. I don't know. And it's so fucking horrible, man.
February 25th was Madeline Soto's 13th birthday party, a big day in any child's life, celebrating the end of one phase and the start of the next, the teen years. But tragically for Madeline, this was not the beginning of her teen years. It was the end of her life. She was reported missing the next day, but investigators believe she was already dead by 8:19 the following morning. They also say she was in the car of a man named Stephen Stearns, her mother Jen Soto's boyfriend. Stephen is currently locked up after police found disturbing images on his phone, resulting in 20 counts of child sex abuse-related charges and 40 charges involving hundreds of images and videos of that abuse. Madeline's body was found 4 days later, 22 miles from her home, and tonight, we return to the scene, examining the location where Madeline was recovered. How could someone discard a body here in broad daylight? And what about the environment the body was in? Will the ME be able to recover useful evidence from the autopsy? What is the status of the murder investigation? And when will someone be charged? Tonight, we take a look at these questions live on the ground in Central Florida as we investigate the tragic life and death of Madeline Soto. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. We have a big hour straight ahead. And of course, we're beginning with the case involving Madeline Soto. You think about what happened to this young girl. She turns 13, and then she's discarded, tossed, dead on the side of the road in some brush in Central Florida. Yes, it reminds us of another case of another young girl who was also discarded off of the side of the road in some brush. We know how that turned out. That's why we've got a lot of focus on this story, on this case, taking a look at each and every piece of evidence connected to this girl who had just celebrated her 13th birthday. And we think about what a significant day that is, right? You know, I remember when I was, boasting to everyone, I'm a teenager now, right? I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a teenager. And as I sit here tonight, I'm just wondering if that was what Madeline was saying. And was that perhaps the reason that someone took her life? Because now she was maturing. She was becoming more grown up and maybe was feeling the power and the ability to speak out about what was happening to her. Now, Stephen Stearns is the suspect, and the day that his so-called, and I say so-called because I have a hard time saying this, his so-called stepdaughter disappeared. He had a really strange day. Like, what was going on? Really strange day. He's apparently at the dumpster at 7:35 in the morning. What's going on there? Well, we kind of know what's going on there. Then he's driving all around. Like, did he have work? Was he delivering for Uber Eats? What was he doing? Where was he going? Why was he there? Why did he get a flat tire? Where did he go to get this flat tire? What was he doing on that side of town? Because he's not close to where I think he lives with Jen and Madeline. So on the same day that his stepdaughter goes missing and gets a flat tire, missing child, same day, does that make any sense to you? Is that like just a really bad day? Oh, you wouldn't believe it. My stepdaughter went missing and I got a flat tire. Got a flat tire doing what, where, when, why? We're going to talk about all this tonight. All of this tonight. This is a big part of this story. We're going to try to tie it together and see if there is a connection to all of it as we return to the scene. We, Closing Arguments, Court TV, returning to the scene of where Madeline's body was recovered. Important. So let's go back in time. Let's listen to Chief Betty Holland from the Kissimmee Police Department describing information that they knew at the time that this was a missing persons case.
Please share this crime line bulletin on my right of Stephen Stearns. He was last seen driving a silver 2010 Lincoln MKZ. The Florida tag is IYLL82 on Monday, February 26th between 1 and 2:30 p.m. in the area of State Road 192 and Old Hickory Tree Road, as well as Old Hickory Tree Road and Nolte Road. During this time frame, it is believed that Stearns had a flat tire and might have been seen changing the tire in this area. If anyone saw this vehicle or noticed anything suspicious, we're asking that they call Crime Line.
Okay, so based upon what the chief said, let's take a look at a map so you understand the area that we're talking about and what exactly it means. And we begin, of course, with the location of Madeline's remains. And you look at that area, very green, not a lot of development. It's near a body of water. Now, State Road 192, a bit of a main road down there, a main highway. I remember when I lived in the area, I would drive on 192. And there you see where 192 goes. Now, let's take a look at Hickory Tree Road. Significant part of this, that's where the body's found, on Hickory Tree Road. And you see Hickory Tree Road kind of loops around and connects to 192 in two different spots. Now, Nolte Road. Where's Nolte Road? Let's take a look at Nolte. Nolte kind of runs east and west, going from more of that same.
Okay, I want to stop it right there a second. I need to see something here. Hold on. Okay, you see where her body was found? Hold on here. Just a second. We're going to do something here. Just a second here. Just a second. I want to show something here. Trying to find something. Sorry, y'all, I'm not looking at chat right at the moment. Okay, hold on just a second here. Just a second here. Copy. Okay, now remember, she was found 22 miles from her home. Trying to get us some. What the fuck? I don't want this. Just a second, y'all. What's this shit? Bear with me, you all. Sorry, I'm not looking at chat for a second. Okay, hold on just a second here. I believe she knew too, Sonia, the mom, in my opinion. She seemed nervous as fuck, actually. Hold on here. Okay, let me go over here. Okay, I'm going to show this screen real quick. I think she's just really fucking nervous. And okay, you see the body found there. Do y'all remember the Coxes that got busted? Trying to. Okay, you see where her body was found? I'm going to go over here and share this real quick. Okay, you see this red? This here is where the Coxes lived that got busted for child porn. Okay, and you see right over here where this red one right here is? This is the area they found Maddie's body. Right here, straight across from them. It's like a 9-10 minute drive. Then you go all the way up here to the top. You see all this water. Kissimmee up here is where Maddie lived. The red dot is where the Coxes lived. Straight across is where they found Maddie's body. I don't know. Why was he over in that area by known? Because they'd been investigating the Coxes for a while, since last year. Did he take Maddie's body there because he knew they were investigating the Coxes and maybe it would look like the Coxes done it? Because after Maddie is whenever they got arrested and the one unalived himself. Does this make sense to you all, what I'm trying to say here? The Bigfoot septic system, I don't know what's on there, but that is like the area where, right here, where they found her. Straight across. See, I thought that too, Snacks. Maybe the night of the birthday party, he took her there after. And something happened. I thought that, Snacks. I have thought that big time. Maybe that's why the dude unalived himself. But his car was seen in that vicinity where she was dropped off. Snacks, did you see the condo that they lived in? Here, let's see if we can see. Look at this here. Okay, this is the Cox's house right here, the blue one. Let's see. Oh, here we got this. Let's go back to this. I got the exact thing here. Here we go. Here is a map of exactly. Okay, right here is on the left is where the pedos got arrested and one unalived himself. Then over here on the end at this last one, 12-minute drop is where they found Madeline's body. Right, Snacks. You see how close that is? And let me see here. And this was 22 miles. Like up here, you see this body of water right here where I'm at? This area is where Hunter's Creek and stuff is where Madeline lived, up this area. But look how far. See Hunter's Creek right there? He took her all the way down here. But I think she was already down here. 7.8 miles to where they found her. Right, Snacks? That's what I said. And that's just really odd, you know? And like March 1st or 6th or something like that is whenever they busted these creeps. Her school is also right there in the Hunters Creek area up at the top there. That's her school. She went to Hunters Creek Middle School. Let's see here. Let's go back over here. Shit, where am I going here? What the hell? Okay, let's see. Let's see, Hunters Creek Middle School. Okay, there you go. That's okay. You see the very top there? That's her middle school. And you see where it goes down through here. Mom was nervous. See how far up there at the top, Snacks? 35 miles away. And you can see the 3326 countryside. That's where the pedos lived. And then over there, 5413 is where they found her body. Snack's mom was so nervous. She was shaking. Like her legs was, you could see it. No tears, no emotion, no nothing. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, how ironic, though. 10, 12 minutes from the ones that got busted. And then one offs himself and this and that. And something's up, ain't it? I don't know. It's just. People say, oh, it's nothing, but look at this. It's just, it kind of adds up, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to go back over here to this interview we were doing here with whatever. I can't even remember. See the body found there?
Cloud area towards the Kissimmee area. And finally, they mentioned Old Hickory Tree Road. So you've got regular Hickory Tree, then you've got Old Hickory Tree Road, which connects 192 and Nolte. And that is significant here as you take a look at the map, those two dots. And that's where police seem to be directing us towards for this flat tire. But is it Old Hickory Tree Road? Is it Hickory Tree Road closer to where Madeline is found? Well, let's do a little investigation. And when I say investigation, I mean, let's go to Court TV producer Cody Thomas, joining us live tonight from outside the Kissimmee Police Department, who's heading up this investigation. He has spent all day today down there. So let's start with where you went today. Give us sort of the backstory, where you went, why you were going there.
Well, good evening, Vinny. Of course, we went down Hickory Tree Road where Madeline Soto's body was ultimately found by the Osceola Police Department. And as I was going down that road today, I noticed on either side, there's not really much there. It's pretty flat. I know she was found in a wooded area. And of course, as we kept going down that 3 to 4 mile span of road, we ended up finding the exact place where she was found, signified by a memorial by the community. Let's take a look. So we just turned onto Hickory Road where Madeline Soto's body was found, not to be confused with Old Hickory Road. That's where police and investigators say they did catch Stephen Stearns in that 2010 Lincoln MKZ changing a tire the morning of February 26th when Maddie Soto went missing. But as we look out here on Hickory Road, we see that it's pretty flat. There are some wooded areas to the left, but it's pretty flat, not too hilly. There's some cows out here, some private farmland. It's a little bit residential, not too busy. We've seen 4, 5, maybe 6 cars tops, and we've been on the road maybe about a mile, a little over a mile. And as I'm noticing some of these light posts, there's no sort of security camera type deal going on out here. And again, on either side of the road, it's pretty flat. You know, not many woods except for way back at the tree line, at the wood line off the land away from the road. I don't see much wooded area up towards the asphalt. But that's not to say there isn't some of those areas as we continue on down the road. Now, as we continue on down Hickory Road, we are starting to see a couple more cars. There were 3 that just passed us right there. And actually, as we're coming up down here, I see some cars parked off to the right, or to the left of me, excuse me. And this actually looks like on the right, if you look up to the right of the road, that is it. That's the exact spot where Maddie Soto was found. You can see that memorial. We have some community members out here putting some things together. So, and these trees right here off to my right, that is where Maddie Soto's body was found dead by police. Now, we are actually at that site on Hickory Road where Madeline Soto's body was found. And if you follow me and look down the stretch of this road, there's not much on either side. I know she was found in a wooded area. It's kind of desolate on the left, a little desolate on the right. You could easily view something from the road if you're passing by. But right here behind me is the memorial site, actually where she was found, right in between those trees. And we actually have some community advocate members out here with us, and they tell us that one of them actually has been in contact with the owner of this land right here behind me. And that day, that morning of February 26th, they say that gate was open. They've talked to this owner of this land. The gate was open, and that owner is mourning because now they're having those thoughts. What if the gate was closed? What could I have done different? But ultimately, again, right over here between these trees is where Madeline Soto was found, here on Hickory Road. Now, just across the street here in this area, this little divot off of Hickory Road, is where a witness online describes where he saw Stephen Stearns kneeling down, changing a tire that morning of February 26th when Maddie Soto went missing. Now, you can see it's just a little gravel divot, a lot of flat land back here, private farmland. Now, police described the area they saw that flat tire situation on Old Hickory Road. There's an Old Hickory Road and a Hickory Road. Hickory Road, again, across the street where Madeline Soto's body was found. So there could be a little confusion as far as what witnesses may or may not have saw between the two, that is Hickory Road and Old Hickory Road. But one thing we do know, again, right across the street and that tree line behind that memorial over the fence is where Madeline Soto's body was found on March 1st. And Vinny, as we stood there for the half hour, maybe 45 minutes, we were there at least 5, 6, 7 people pulled up to that memorial, adding more things, teddy bears, notes from all over the country, paying their respects to Madeline Soto and her family.
So a couple of things jumping out to me tonight, Cody. Number one, it's flat, right? Florida is generally flat, and that area is absolutely flat, right? So you have the wooded area where the body could be secreted, but to get the body there, if you're parked on the side of the road, and you got your trunk open, your door open, whatever, anyone driving by is going to see it. It's the middle of the day.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, where I was standing at, I was looking right across. It wasn't even 30 feet away from it. And if it's broad daylight, there's cars coming by, you would easily be seen. There's no way you would not be seen. Those trees are right there, maybe 10, 12 feet from the road, right behind that fence where the memorial is sitting with all the teddy bears and the windmills and everything like that. So you would easily be seen by a car coming by.
To think, right? So the question becomes this flat tire. Is this flat tire some sort of a ruse? Is there a flat tire? And then at the moment there's a flat tire, could he have allegedly gotten rid of the body because he had a flat tire? Or was the flat tire a reason to park on the side of the road? And in case someone saw him, there'd be a reason for him to be on the side of the road. Either way, it seems like based upon that witness account in that area where you were, that's like right there. It's right there. It's the same. It's basically the same spot across the street.
Right across the street. Again, that's a great observation. Literally right across the street, no more than 20, maybe 30 steps. And to your point, like it could have been a ruse. It could have been an act just to seem as if you were doing something else just to take an alleged dead body and go dump it across on that private land. But until we know more information, that's still up in the air.
Absolutely. So From your observations today, obviously a little bit more traffic because people are coming to pay their respects to Madeline, but how many cars that aren't stopping there are coming by during the time you're there, middle of the day, much like is alleged here that it could have happened in the middle of the day?
Middle of the day, we were out there close to an hour. We probably counted maybe tops 20 cars. 15, somewhere between 15 and 20. So it's not a very populated area. There's not much traffic coming through there. And again, it's pretty desolate either way. And that whole span of the road is maybe 3-4 miles long, no street lights. So if it's dark, it's really dark. But again, this is taking place in the broad open daylight, and there were still not many cars coming by.
Right. And if you're there at night, I don't even know how you would find your way around. And an important piece of information, though, that the gate was open. If the gate's not open, there's no way for the body to be hidden near the wood line. It'd have to be right there, much more out in the open. So as you were there, you mentioned cars were stopping, people were stopping. So you bumped into some folks there. What are they saying?
Of course, they're saying the community is mourning this loss. And the people that were there that I saw were actually community advocates fighting for child abuse victims statewide across Florida. But one of them was a mom, and she says that this has completely torn her apart. She understands what Maddie Soto's family is going through dealing with this loss. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Keeping the site tidy. The property owners were kind enough to let us keep the memorial honoring Madeline Soto, and for the family and friends to have a place to come and mourn and pray and remember Madeline. These are gifts that people within the community have brought, as well as people from other parts, pretty much all around the world. People from Ireland, from Texas. A lady contacted me with address because she wanted to send her present for Madeline, and pretty much, ensuring that also balloons are not brought on site, anything with strings, because this is a working farm. There's cattle, there's animals that need to be protected.
And of course, Vinny, that woman says that the community is trying to bond together, bonding as they're mourning, but she says that's the only way that this community is ever going to try to get over this terrible situation.
So, and this information is really eye-opening tonight, right? Being on the ground, to me, it's a much different perception I have of the area and what happened here. And then when it comes to the search, I mean, I've got to think that if police believe that search area or the area where he was spotted is across the street in that little turnaround area, the search makes sense, right? That particular area makes sense on Hickory Tree Road, not Old Hickory Tree Road. If he's changing the tire on Old Hickory Tree Road, there's a lot more ground to cover. Like that's pretty far away from where you are. It's not like a walking distance or anything else. So there would be almost no reason to search the area where she was found unless there was some sort of connection to the suspect here, which is the changing of the tire.
And that is exactly right. We actually rode on Old Hickory Tree Road. And like you said, that was about 15 to 20 minutes away by car. So imagining walking that far, let alone with a body in a book bag or a sack or whatever it may be, not happening. 0% happening. So to your point, for them to search in that area, there had to be a connection. There had to be some sort of sighting, something that put him in the vicinity for them to even begin to look there and ultimately end up finding her body there.
Yeah, because, again, this is the middle of nowhere. These are farms, 22 miles from Kissimmee, 15 minutes from this Old Hickory Tree Road. So I believe someone had to give them information to get them there, and it makes sense if this witness said that he was in that little turnaround area and saw the suspect there with a tire iron, maybe changing his. That makes so much sense tonight. Because without it, I mean, what reason would investigators have to search the area you were in? Like, it's nowhere near their home. It's not near this so-called old hickory tree.
And again, Vinny, it is sort of, in all senses of the phrase, in the middle of nowhere. It was slightly residential, and by that I mean maybe 5 or 6 houses that were sitting on big plots of land, but there's not a lot of people coming through there. So to even have an idea to be out there, there had to be some sort of connection.
Absolutely. All right. Cody Thomas, Court TV producer, is on the ground in Central Florida. We're getting reports all week this week. I know you've got a lot of ground to cover down there, so great job tonight, Cody. We'll speak to you again.
Well, the question on everybody's mind seems to be whether Stephen Stearns had a flat tire on Hickory Tree Road where Madeline Soto's body was recovered, or on Old Hickory Tree Road. And I don't think it matters.
Crazy, huh? Let's see, where did I get? Let's see, hold on. I had it somewhere and do not remember where I. Here we are going to watch. Watch. This is the interview of Madeline's mom.
Good. So the first question is if I can have your last name and spell them both out for me.
Watch how much she's shaking her leg and stuff.
Soto,
No emotion.
JENNIFERSOTO.
Mother.
Mother.
Jennifer, tell me how you feeling right now.
I feel like I can't breathe. All I keep thinking about is
I would be a livid, crying hot mess.
She's okay. But we're all a wreck. My entire family is a mess. We're just so worried.
When did you first realize, or when did you file a missing report?
We filed a missing report. We called the police at like 4:45 yesterday, 4:45 p.m. But she actually went missing early that morning, around between 8:45 and 9 o'clock in the morning. She went missing. We had dropped her off close to the school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. Sorry. That should be it. Sorry about that. We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share.
You share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know you had conversations with detectives. Not sure what that conversation is, but whichever you feel comfortable sharing, that will put the awareness out there.
Yeah, she was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school, on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away around 9 a.m. heading towards the school, but she never made it.
What has the school said? Have you given in contact with the school?
Yes, that they're doing everything they can. They've given me all their resources. The principals called me. They've looked at their cameras. I don't think they've caught anything on the cameras is too far away from the sidewalk. Everything is too grainy, so they can't see specific faces. But they've looked. I'm just waiting to hear anything else from them.
Is this normal behavior?
Not
to
at all.
just not show up or call or text or anything?
Not at all, no. She, from time to time, she will leave her cell phone at home accidentally, and that's actually what happened yesterday. She left her phone at home. She went to school. But that happens from time to time. She's got ADHD, her memory. She's very forgetful. So yeah, there's no way to track her right now because the detectives now have her phone. But this isn't normal behavior now.
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working, but she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
Yeah. 13?
She's 13 years old. Yes.
13, Madeline?
Madeline.
What are you thinking right now?
In my heart, I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think.
Friends, the friends' parents, you've contacted and went through every single person?
Everyone that we know that she knows, we've contacted them all, reached out to them. The parents have gone out to search and look for her as well. And we haven't come up with anything yet.
I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook, Hunters Creek rants and raves and what have you. Did people say that they were going to conduct some type of like search party or anything?
A lot of people have asked me to volunteer, like if there is one, if they can do one. I have people passing out flyers, going to every store in that vicinity, a gas station, church. I think people were being stopped in the street this morning in front of the school to see if they've seen anything, if they've heard anything. My family they're going all out right now. Yeah.
I know as a mother, a lot is going on in your brain.
So much.
To bring her back home. What have the law enforcement told you that you are able to share?
I mean, that they're doing the best they can. They've had detectives come out, interview us. They took a piece of her clothing for the canine dog to see if they can sniff her out. I'm not sure when that's being done.
Do you have any inkling where she possibly could be? Like if you would say, okay, last time I went to work and came back, she was at Jane's house or Sabrina's house, and maybe I forgot to check that house, or she played at this park one week and maybe she went back there or something like that.
We've looked everywhere we could have thought, and anywhere she would have been. She would have known to wait for me at the school. But we did check if she could have walked. My mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. I think we've checked everywhere I could think of, honestly.
What do you think? Oh gosh, I just had it tip of my tongue. What was she wearing?
She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it.
And you said this is not like her.
Not at all.
To run away, an argument, anything like that to provoke her?
She's never done anything like this, no. And we haven't had any arguments recently to have this outcome.
What school?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Tom, any questions? Yeah. Is there anything that you think our viewers would need to know about the way you're feeling, the way the family's feeling, Madeline?
We are desperate for any answers, anything that you can do to help. I'm here for it. Just please, if you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
When did you notice that she was missing? Because this was at the beginning of the morning.
She got dropped off in the morning. We did not notice until after school pickup at 4 o'clock when I went to go pick her up, and she wasn't at school.
So we're going in 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. No word. No text message. No messages anywhere from her. I've looked at all her social medias. I've looked at all her games she could have played with. Any app. No weird conversations. Nothing strange. Everything was conversations with just normal friends or us.
She knows how to get home by herself, as if, like, let's just say, to take a bus or an Uber or something like that. She would know how to get home alone, correct?
I'm not sure. I don't know if she would know how to get home. Maybe, I mean, I'm thinking if someone got in the car with her and if she pointed the way, what roads, she probably could figure out how to get, but like, does she know our full address? I don't think she does.
Which would give me it just puts in my brain that she always comes home with someone.
She always comes home with me.
There's no need for her to really learn. Okay. And you said no, Tom? He knows everything. All right. The first question is if I can get your first and last name and spell them both out for me.
Stephen Stearns, STEPHAN STERNS.
All right, so Stephen, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks, love you too. That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be. And we're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
It's hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been a lot stronger than me. She's been holding it together really well, but it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you, like, literally put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off. And we looked all up and down the road, all on communities, and There was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage, and not much else.
Does it seem like she walked west, east?
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbally, language, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She had a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had a 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she's just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is killing you.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is. Sorry. It's hard.
I know you're fine. Don't need to apologize. What do you want our viewers to know when they see this?
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her diagnoses, would it be easy to approach her without any like agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
If you can sum up in one complete sentence, waking up, getting ready to drop her off at school, dropping her off at school, to now speaking to me after talking to the police about her being missing for over 24 hours right now. In one complete sentence, what would that be?
A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other. I just want to wake up. You just get hit with waves of the reality just it's setting in. As soon as it got dark last night, we started falling apart. We knew it wasn't going to come to an end. And now we're going on 24 hours and still nothing. Conflicting reports here and there. People say they see this or that. None of it's conclusive and none of it's helpful. We just want a baby girl back.
Tom, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And we've got a couple of tragedies to talk about tonight. Let's start with Madeline Soto from down in Central Florida. There she is. She went missing on the 26th, just 13 years old. Her mother's boyfriend or husband, it's not super clear at this moment,
Oh, snacks. Look, it went on since like 2018 at least. It went on for 8 years or something, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And you can't tell me that that mother did not know something. For one, Madeline had to change. Like, I don't know. And you would think that the mom would have noticed something with her clothing or something. That mom, yeah. I don't think, Candy, let's please use in my opinion and stuff because this is not facts, but I don't think she was essaying her own daughter, but I think she knew. Exactly, Snacks. That's what I said. She had to see something on the poor baby's clothing all them years. Come on. She had to suspect something. There's no way. It's not like it just happened one time and he got busted. You know what I mean? Then I would say, yeah, she didn't know. But years? Come on. Me too, Eve. Winnie! Hold on, y'all. Winifred! Sorry, my dog ran off with my damn napkin. She'll shred it to pieces. Right, the sheets, panties, the sea snacks. They said that Maddie was afraid to sleep in her own bed, and she slept with her mother. But who else slept with her mother? Her mother also worked night shifts. Yeah, she just turned 13. I think she was too old for him at that point. You know, adolescence, and yeah, Wendy's in trouble. I had a roll of paper towels here. She took off with the whole fucking roll. Yep. And there's something else here. Some forensics are going to weigh in on this. The snacks, not that I know of. I heard she had a brother, but I haven't seen nothing else about that. But yeah, not that I know of. She didn't, unless her bio dad has other kids.
Welcome back to Opening Statements. This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Her remains discovered earlier this month in a wooded area in Kissimmee, Florida. And her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, is the prime suspect in her death. He has not yet been charged in connection with her death. He's only facing child sex abuse charges pertaining to beautiful Madeline. Court TV producer Cody Thomas returned to the scene of the crime. He is joining us live this morning with the very latest. Cody, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Julie. We did, of course, take that trip down Hickory Tree Road, ultimately where Madeline Soto's body was found by police. And in all essences of the phrase, when we went down that road, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, moderately busy, a lot of flat land, but eventually after going 3 or 4 miles down that long span of road, we did eventually find the exact spot where Madeline Soto was found by police. Let's take a look. So we just turned onto Hickory Road where Madeline Soto's body was found, not to be confused with Old Hickory Road. That's where police and investigators say they did catch Stephen Stearns in that 2010 Lincoln MKZ changing a tire the morning of February 26th when Maddie Soto went missing. But as we look out here on Hickory Road, we see that it's pretty flat. There are some wooded areas to the left. If you look up to the right of the road, that is it. That's the exact spot where Maddie Soto was found. But right here behind me is the memorial site, actually where she was found, right in between those trees. And we actually have some community advocate members out here with us, and they tell us that one of them actually has been in contact with the owner of this land right here behind me. And that day, that morning of February 26th, they say that gate was open just across the street here in this area. This little divot off of Hickory Road is where a witness online describes where he saw Stephen Stearns kneeling down, changing a tire that morning of February 26th when Maddie Soto went missing. Now you can see it's just a little gravel divot, a lot of flat land back here, private farmland. And of course, when we were out at that memorial, Julie, we saw 5 or 6 people coming up, giving trinkets to the memorial, letters, teddy bears, just honoring the life of little Madeline Soto.
Cody, wanted to ask you, please, that area you showed us where Madeline's body was found, and it is believed by police that her body was moved in the early morning hours the day that she died. I'm curious how busy the area is. Could there have been cars going by at the time, maybe some witnesses to this that we just haven't heard about yet?
Yes, that's a good thing to point out there, Julie. When we were out there, like, it was moderately busy. We saw maybe 15 to 20 cars, but it was absolutely possible because we know it was done allegedly in the morning. So it was broad daylight. If anyone came by, they definitely would have seen him doing something if that were the case.
Right, Cody. This just sounds funny, the whole changing of the tire, all of that. So we know he was on the side of the road at one point, but we wonder, is it even confirmed that he had that flat tire, huh?
That is the question right now, because as we've been down here talking to some people, there's a Hickory Tree Road and there's an Old Hickory Tree Road. And the police report says the flat tire was taking place on Old Hickory Tree Road. A witness statement online says it was Hickory Tree Road. So there could be a little confusion going back and forth as to where exactly that he was. But it is what we've picked up to be described as right across from where that body was found. So, you know, if he was out there, could the flat tire have been a ruse to try to look like an act to make it easier to go dump a body across that fence? We'll know when more information comes out.
You read my mind, Cody. Could be staging. Our next guest will speak to that. But want to say a big thank you to you, Court TV producer Cody Thomas. Thank you so much for that update from Florida. Now I want to bring in that very special guest. You will recognize him. He is a forensics expert. He's the owner of Kenny Kinsey and Associates, Dr. Kenny Kinsey. Good morning to you, Dr. Kinsey. Thanks for coming on the program today.
Good morning, Ms. Julie. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you heard me talking with Cody about, was he there making it look like he was changing a tire to be in the vicinity to dispose of the body? Curious of, you know, what your thoughts are on that, Dr. Kinsey.
Well, Ms. Julie, many times these predators really don't have a plan for the end game. So you may see a level of staging, they call it ad hoc staging, where it's not necessarily premeditated, but Stearns is taking advantage of every opportunity to dispose of this young lady.
Right. And Dr. Kinsey, I'm wondering if the homicide occurred in the home. I'm just wondering that because of the allegations of sexual abuse that have already been brought against Stephen Stearns. And then we know police have said there was a point where they've got surveillance video of his car returning to the home, and they believe that Madeline's body is already lifeless, but still in that vehicle at the time. And then they believe, you know, the disposal perhaps may have occurred in the early morning hours the day after her death. Talk to us about your thoughts on how this child might have died, and then how the plan to dispose of her body may have been carried out.
Well, in this situation, Ms. Julie, we see, I believe what we see is that law enforcement did enough in stage one that they can slow down the game. They have these additional charges with exploitation and trafficking of other children. So they're able to slow it down. They've got Stearns put where he needs to be, and I don't believe we're going to see him ever get out. But now law enforcement can slow down and do that methodical forensic investigation. And I'm sure they are probably processing evidence daily to get us those answers. But the perfect part of this investigation, if you could have a perfect part, was they come out of the gate swinging, and they got enough on the front end that.
And we may be having a little bit of difficulty with your video. Let's take a look at a clip from the Sheriff's Department. They're talking about the items that belonged to little Madeline found in a dumpster.
We have video evidence that shows Stephen Stearns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster.
Okay, looks like we have your shot back, Dr. Kinsey. The tech gremlins are interrupting us this morning. So I wanted to just give you a chance. The last part of what you were saying, would you mind repeating it for us so we have it, please?
No, ma'am, I don't mind. I was praising law enforcement for coming out of the gate swinging. They have gathered enough information that they can slow down now. They can be methodical instead of pushed against the wall and having to react. And hopefully they won't make those mistakes with that forensic evidence that are all too common. We all make them. But now they've got time on their side now, because I don't believe Stearns is going anywhere.
That's a really great point, Dr. Kinsey. I'm thinking, and I said this on my show a couple of days ago, I'm thinking that they're doing a grand jury presentment right now on the homicide case. And to your point, you're right. They've got him locked up. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to harm anyone if he is the predator that law enforcement believes he is. Tell us, please, Dr. Kinsey, if you were hired to consult on this case and try to figure out how little Madeline died. Walk us through what you would do, please.
As I've said many times, Miss Julie, I would break it up. You've got several different crime scenes here. You've got the location in the brush 20 miles away where Stern allegedly dumped little Madeline. You've got the vehicle, and then you've got the home or wherever this crime took place. But let's just say it's not in the home. Let's say it was mobile, it was in the vehicle. You still have a level of sexual assault and all kind of horrible things that you know, this young lady lived through prior to this act. So you've got at least 4 crime scenes from the jump. And I would break them down, take them one at a time. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I would break it down and have someone in charge, someone coordinating the entire action. And we would work them one at a time, and then everyone get together and stay in touch. And we would put it together and try to make a great case.
You know, hearing you say that, Dr. Kinsey, it's the first time I've heard anyone say there are really 4 crime scenes here. That really helps you think about the actions that occurred here from the time that child was supposed to go to school and was never brought to school, and from the time that her precious body was recovered, discarded like trash. We've got to leave it there for now, but would love to have you back on this case and on many others when you have time. Dr. Kenny Kinsey, thank you for the excellent analysis today. We'll see you soon.
Yes, Max. I got away from the kids too on Harmony's case, but this one here is just let me see here. Okay, we're gonna watch this one here, Profiling Evil with Mike King. I really like him.
Well, the question on everybody's mind seems to be whether Stephen Stearns had a flat tire on Hickory Tree Road where Madeline Soto's body was recovered, or on Old Hickory Tree Road. And I don't think it matters. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to Profiling Evil, and this quick edition on an appearance I made on Court TV to talk about that flat tire and the importance of it. It's absolutely important that there was a flat tire reported, because that led law enforcement to recovering Madeline Soto's body. Well, I hope you'll take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button so that you're getting our notifications on all of our videos as we release them. And by the way, folks, if you're thinking about going to CrimeCon, make sure you check out my special offer down below where I get you a discount for coming. We're going to try to get all the Profiling Evil family together in Nashville this year to do something special. So please sign up and make sure you use the code below. Now, listen, here's the big deal that seems to be troubling everybody about the Stephen Stearns case and whether this guy had a flat tire. I don't think it matters as much that he had a flat tire as it does the fact that they recovered Madeline Soto's body. And the way they recovered it is a combination of things. Number one, that individual who called into the Crime Stoppers line and told them that they saw someone and a vehicle who looked like this guy is absolutely important, and they need to be given their kudos for finding that thing. But number two, and more important in my opinion, is that law enforcement was able to take his mobile phone data and track every place that he went. When I first looked at this, I was really nervous thinking about how flat Florida is. I've been through that area, how remote it is there. And when I looked at the cell tower data, it looked pretty darn tough to be able to get a good cellular signal. In fact, as we're looking at this map, you can see that the cell towers are really quite a long ways away from the location where Madeline Soto's body was recovered. But when I dug a little bit deeper and I pulled up the microwave towers that are in the area, those are the small cells that are set up by the cellular companies to try to boost the coverage. All of a sudden, it changed the entire picture. And you can see here how many there were, which I think equates to a better location off of this guy's phone. Stern's phone, whether he had that horrible accident of wiping it clean or not, had data pushed back to the provider, whether it was AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, doesn't matter. Those location pieces of information were collected and stored with the account. So it's not just about the flat tire, but it's about the fact that the flat tire, along with other pieces of evidence, are bringing together this case. Number one, it brought them to a location where they could recover Madeline Soto's body. It may be information that they used to impeach Stern, as he said, I wasn't in the area. And we'll wait and see what happened there. I've yet to hear law enforcement come out and say that they found a flat tire in that vehicle. But there's got to be a reason why he put that clunky little spare tire on the car. Now, personally, I'm starting to theorize that if in fact that gate was open where her body was recovered, this guy could have pulled in and back behind the trees, making it a little easier to stay concealed and remove her body from the vehicle and put her behind those trees. If in fact that happened, as he pulled out and discovered that he had a flat tire, it would then make it necessary for him to change the tire where the witness saw him. Now, it could be that it happened up on Old Hickory Tree Road, but I think it's less likely that it did. That's quite a coincidence to have Old Hickory Road and then the disposal site being on Hickory Tree Road. So I'm really banking on the fact that most likely they're going to recover evidence in the car tires. They may even recover an object in the tire from that area where the body was recovered. It just makes sense. Put yourself in the mindset of a predator, even one who's disorganized and just trying to get rid of this child's body. Pulling off into an area where he could secrete himself behind the trees makes a whole lot more sense. It's easier to get out of the view of passing cars, even recognizing that fewer cars go by in that area or stretch of roadway. After getting that body out of the car and tucking it into the trees, as he was driving out, he may have discovered that he ran over something. That might be some of those blessings from on high that cause these predators to become more disorganized. He then is forced to pull directly across the street where he changes the tire, and a witness observes him, photographs his car, and sends it to Crime Stoppers. Now, I don't know if Crime Stoppers blew it, but they certainly didn't get law enforcement there right away. This one is really troubling because we're going to see more information come out as time goes on. But let's take a moment and catch my comments on Court TV about that particular topic of how that vehicle may have ended up in that location.
Mike King, the search. This is almost the middle of nowhere, but they found her. It had to be a result of some witness information, don't you think?
I think that and the combination of cell phone data that they used to maybe put this thing together, Vinny, and I think that's what we got to really take into account. At first, I was a little bit discouraged because I know how flat that area is and how difficult it is to get a decent cell signal. But when you start looking at not only the cell towers, but all the microwave towers that are along that road, I think that the cell reception was pretty good, and they probably had a pretty good marker of what roads he traveled down. And then they could start looking, taking advice of that witness, of the container, of the vehicle being off on a little pullout. But then we got to think about how did that body get back behind the trees? And I think that can be pretty well explained by the fact that that gate was open. It's possible he drove the car back a ways and then carried the body, or knowing that it's a pretty remote area, he may have just gutted it out and headed across the road with that child. Well, I really appreciate Vinnie Politan. And again, I feel like everybody's focusing on this flat tire, and we really don't even know that there was a flat tire. Now, all the evidence points to that it's true. There's no reason why he would pull out and change that tire. He might get out, look at the car, pop his hood up if he was just putting a guise on. But to put that smaller tire on the back of the car doesn't make sense unless he did, in fact, have a flat tire. So I suspect we're going to find that that's the case. And I suspect we're going to find what I'm starting to theorize, which is that he pulled off in a very remote area, even though it was only 40 minutes from the home in which they resided, and he may have disposed of the body behind the trees. Remarkably, the place in which that body was recovered, and remarkably, the place in which a witness saw someone matching his vehicle description and his physical description parked and doing something, perhaps changing a tire. Those are pretty heavy coincidences to get away from. Then When he had that body safely tucked away in the bushes, he got in his vehicle and started to pull out and realized he had a flat tire. Can you imagine the stress that he was feeling at that particular moment? Not only disorganized from all of the crimes that would have happened leading up to this point. Remember, there's a crime scene where the murder actually happened, and now this disposal site. But now he's got the additional pressure of that tire going flat and continuing to be near the body where someone might come by and check on him. Let's catch the rest of my remarks on Court TV.
Mike King, let me ask you another question on this, though. I'm thinking about this flat tire. Is it really a flat tire or is it a ruse? Can you forensically, do you think forensically you could figure out how, if the tire that was taken off the back left is flat, do you think you could figure out what caused that flat tire? And if it's not flat, then this absolutely is a ruse.
Yeah, I think forensics are going to really play a big role here because number one, if you pick something up going off-road into that area, it's probably going to be something they can determine and say this is where it happened. But those tires, if he did go off-road, are going to probably have residue and artifacts that suggest that he went off-road there. So I think that's going to help too. Could it be a ruse? Why not? I mean, what a great thing to say, I've got to have a reason to park my car on the side of the road while I wait for traffic to pass by and then hurry and secrete a body in the woods. So I think we got to keep all of them in our minds. We can't focus on any specific one until more information comes out. And frankly, I haven't heard a person say yet that they looked in the trunk and there was a flat tire in there.
Yeah.
So as you think of all of this information that's coming out, I have to ask myself, is it possible that this guy had a flat tire and that he was changing that tire just immediately after dumping that body or before dumping that body in the tree line? I think it makes perfect sense. The fact that that gate was open made that a perfect access point for him to get through the gate instead of having to lift that body, which is probably in a state of rigor mortis at that time, over the fence and then go over and carry it further into the woods. It just makes sense that with that gate open, he probably drove right into that area rather than risk running across the road with a body over his shoulder. So as you kind of sort out this case in your mind and you focus on this changing of the tire, I want you to think about a couple of things. Number one, is it possible that he had a flat tire in that location where her body is found? It's absolutely possible. In fact, in my opinion, it's more probable than possible. And I would suspect, looking at the evidence that we're starting to see now, the physical evidence, the eyewitness account, and the forensics that will come from the examination of that tire and the scene where that body was recovered, I think we're going to realize that Stephen Stern pulled in through an open gate where that shipping container is and those white bundles of covered hay and pulled behind the trees where he could easily remove Madeline Soto's body from his vehicle, whether it was in the trunk or it was in a back seat or a front seat. I don't know that we know or it even matters at this point. And then after secreting her there where he could have some semblance of isolation, less vehicle traffic going by, wondering what's that guy I pulled off on the side of the road for, then he started to pull out and realized that he had a flat tire. And it would only make sense as he pulled out of that gate that he drove through that with a flat tire, he would drive directly across the street and into the next gated area, giving himself a little bit of distance from the dump site of this child's body to the location where he changed the tire, which was witnessed by an amazing individual who called Crime Stoppers and let them know. And then eventually it made its way to law enforcement who checked the area and recovered this child's body. I'd like to know your thoughts on this theory, and I hope you'll put them down below, and I hope you'll talk with each other on this one as we work through this case. These are incredibly emotional cases, and I want to thank Court TV for allowing me to come in and weigh in on so many important matters. I hope that you're enjoying Profiling Evil. And again, I want to just say, if you're considering going to CrimeCon, please make sure you're taking advantage of the code, the discount code of Profiling Evil, so that you get a reduction in your rate, and we'll all have a chance to get together in Nashville. Make sure you're signing up for that. And don't forget to sign up for the Bolo. Our next issue of the Bolo is coming out in just a couple of weeks. And the only way you're going to get the digital Bolo, that's be on the lookout, our digital newsletter, is by signing up at profilingevil.com. I'll never share your information, which is only your email address. And I promise you, you can stop at any time. So thanks for your support of Profiling Evil. Please watch for
Crazy, ain't it, y'all? But I think I'm going to end it there. I've been on here almost 4 hours. We'll come back live tomorrow because there's more stuff I want to go over with all this. And so I'm going to end it there. Thank you all so much for coming. Love you all. Even the lurkers, they need love too, hell. But have a good night. Love you all. Thank you.